Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Friday night. It's Memorial Day weekend, so most people have a long weekend.
Yeah,
I would imagine.
and tomorrow we're going to see Mad Max Furiosa.
We're gonna go see Furiosa tomorrow.
Yeah.
I already got the tickets.
Yep, and we got a special guest with us. Ariel's with us. Back up, Jan. Let everyone see.
We're not sure if that's gonna be her name or not. That's just like the name.
That was the model name.
That's the name of the model.
Yeah, it's Ariel, the Little Mermaid, when she got legs.
Oh, okay. Oh, is that what it's based off of?
Yeah.
All right.
She's Disney.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
a Disney ripoff. She's Ariel, the Little Mermaid.
I mean, you'd never know that
No,
if she didn't have a red wig on or something.
No, we just have goth wig on her and Jen's fucking stuff, and
Yeah, one of
just
my
got
wigs.
her the other day. And no, we haven't had sex with her.
She only just arrived. What, yesterday?
Yeah.
Tom has been trying. It's
Man, this is a workout. Fucking
it's hilarious because she has like a skeleton inside there, and you have to like loosen all the joints up.
Like, she comes real fucking stiff.
She's like real stiff. So Tom's like, last night we're watching Shogun on Hulu, and he's just like got her laying on the bed, like cranking her legs like back and forth, like trying to like loosen the joints.
She weighs 77 pounds,
and she's heavy.
Yeah, she weighs 77 pounds, and she sandbags. She's not like a 77-pound or 80-pound girl.
Yeah.
Move her over. She's helping you. You can throw her all over the place. No, she's like a sandbag. She's like...
Yeah, Tom's like, Jesus is like taking care of a quadriplegic.
Yeah, it's like taking care of a quadriplegic. I'm trying to get her to stand up and shit. It's rough. It's hard.
But the guy you've been talking to, said that it takes a while for like their joints to loosen up.
Yeah, they loosen up after a while. The only thing that's really tight right now is her hip joints.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of pressure to move her hip joints. The rest of it's loosening up.
Yeah.
He says eventually it's all pretty loose.
Okay. I don't know if we're ever going to get her to stand up, though.
Yeah.
You can kind of get her to stand up if you lean her on something.
You can get her on all fours, and you can get her to lean against things. They will stand up, but not for very well, not for very long. The company sends a book says don't do that.
Yeah.
Especially unsupervised. It will fall over.
Yeah.
And they fall over, like she fell over and her leg hit the carpet, and she got a little carpet burn here.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know how to fix it. I guess you don't have to fix it.
Yeah. We got like all the tips, man. It came with like a whole book and everything. It says put baby powder on it.
Yeah, they're kind of sticky when you get them.
Kind of sticky.
Well, they're the type of material they're made out of.
Yeah.
Exudes gases and oils.
Yeah.
So you got to cover them with baby powder.
And makeup, you always have to use powder makeup.
Yeah.
So he took like a bunch of because I have like this big eyeshadow palettes and stuff with all those different colors in it. So you have to use that for lipstick and everything like that. You can't
put the camera. I'll show her.
You can't put like lipstick or nothing on her.
Yeah, she looks real good. I'll show you.
Here. Okay, just. Everybody's getting seasick.
That's what she looks like.
And she came with another set of eyes. She has blue eyes and I think green ones, right?
Blue ones and green ones.
Yeah, she came with blue ones and green ones. But yeah. We just had her in that little outfit. Because the guys told us, and I think it said this in the book too, that it's like don't put dark colored clothing on them or don't leave dark colored clothing on them for a long time.
Unless it's color safe.
Unless it's color safe, or color fast. Because otherwise it'll stain the skin.
Yeah. So I washed her. I washed the clothes, so they should be all right.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I mean,
But she's
He even bought her some shoes.
Yeah, she's got those goth shoes on.
And because he's Tom, he also bought a pair like that in my size also.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because her feet are a little too... I could probably cram my feet in those because I have pretty small feet.
Man, these are 5.5.
They're 5.5s. I have worn 5.5s before. But I usually wear a 7. But it depends on what kind of shoe it is.
I'm not gonna lift her up.
Yeah,
she's got a real cute booty.
When we start doing videos with it, we're gonna have to figure out like how we're gonna like move her around, like maneuver her around because she's kind of.
Yeah, I think she's gonna be too heavy for Jen.
Yeah, well, I mean, I tried to pick her up, and I can lift her, but it's just gonna look hilarious, like on camera, being like.
We'll just edit.
It's like, come on, fat ass.
We'll put her I'll put her in different positions. We'll edit me out. They'll never know.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. So we'll just like fucking.
But in case you guys are interested, this is the brand on that was Piper Doll, and it's a Japanese artist that does a sculpt, and they're all based on anime or Disney.
Yeah.
And they're seamless. It's all one piece. The head doesn't come off. It's one single skin.
Yeah, because you can buy ones where the body and the heads are separate. Because we've showed the head that we have before. That we still don't have a body for yet. They always have a
seam underneath the neck, and it looks kind of bad on film. So this is the one. If you want to photograph it or make videos, this is the one that was recommended. And now I understand why they don't go for the 120-pound ones.
Yeah, because that one's just like 80 pounds, and she's like,
"Fuck, man, I'll get a workout trying to fucking lift her."
Yeah, he was like, it was just so funny last night. He's like, well, and he kind of fucked his back up like doing a weed eating the other day, so he was like had a hurt back, and he's trying to like heft her around and like move her arms and legs.
Yeah,
we're ridiculous, you know that, right?
Yeah,
that's okay though.
Yeah, it's all funny.
I'm pretty at peace with that.
Yeah.
CB said, "Who has a nicer belly button, me or the doll?"
I didn't really look at the belly buttons per se.
Yeah, I didn't really.
It's hard to. A human being could not compete with these proportions. There are no human. This is far outside human proportions. Her waist is fucking that big.
Yeah.
And that is a drawing. No human is shaped that way.
But it still looks human enough that it's not. But like I said, on camera, it's.
I didn't want them to look too human.
Yeah, because that's a little
I don't
weird.
want the uncanny valley thing. Like, hand me that camera again.
Dang it.
Let me show you guys something. Show you something that's impossible that does not happen on human beings. That profile is not possible on a human being. Look at that nose. That's a Disney fantasy.
Yeah, that's a Disney nose.
Yeah. That doesn't happen. And lips like that don't naturally happen. You could have to pay for them.
Yeah, I mean, you can get that surgically.
Yeah.
But, yeah. With the eyeballs. This is so funny.
Yeah.
This is so funny.
But that's a Piper doll. Ariel.
Yeah.
And that was the one the other creator recommended first. Although the Jessica Rabbit is only a little bit taller and she's got huge fucking jugs.
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe I should have got a Jessica Rabbit. They're both cute though.
Yeah, that one that one was like a lot more expensive, wasn't it?
No, they're the same price.
Oh, were they? Oh, okay.
I think Jessica Rabbit's $100 more, but that's the same price.
Oh, okay. Well, it's not, but yeah.
I could buy that one too.
Yeah, I mean, eventually.
Yeah.
Like I said, we want to make some videos with this one and see how that goes. But yeah, she's. I mean, I knew how much she weighed, but it's quite a different thing when you actually get there and try to like lift her up and move her around and stuff. And I was just like.
And the other one he has is bigger than that. She comes in, I think, at just at 5 feet tall, and he helped develop that doll. And its name is Crystal. But that one's like almost 110 pounds. He says it's hard to deal with. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like hefting a person
You're
around.
like, oh, yeah.
Like I said, like a dead body or somebody like that's a paraplegic or something.
Right.
Like carrying him around. I don't know. I never really thought about my belly button one way or the other. It's just kind of there.
Never thought about it either. Her belly button's fucking pretty perfect right there.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it's not real.
Yeah.
You know, you can sculpt anything.
That's what I mean.
Oh.
So what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Can't compete with stuff that's not real because they can do anything with it.
Here, back up. Show what the nose. Back the chair up. Move it over sideways.
Okay. Well, wait. There's
how the legs
kind of something in the way.
This is how the legs move.
Yeah. You can move it all around itself.
Yeah. With this.
Getting your workout
like
done. You gonna leave it like that?
Leave it like that. Be wearing a stripper.
She won't mind.
No.
I said, ooh, that's kind of the nice thing about it. She can get in all the uncomfortable positions and she won't complain. Not like I would. Like, how long do I have to be like this?
Yeah.
Zach is talking about, I guess just today, he discovered Blowfly Girl.
Oh, Blowfly Girl.
Because the story.
The story of Blowfly Girl.
Yes.
The girl that would get into the dumpsters.
Into the dumpsters.
Meat
Yeah. You know what we're talking about.
And let all the damn worms and fucking maggots get up in her cooch. Yeah.
That girl.
Yeah, Blowfly Girl. She had a mental problem.
Obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, he messaged me today on Facebook and said that was like the most disturbing thing, and I said, yeah, it's like I've read it, and then I saw Wang's show about it, and I said it's pretty bad, but I've read worse, but
it's funny that
hell, I've written worse.
I'm a big fan of that show. I think Wayne's great. He puts on a great show. I didn't know it was from New York. It turns out DJ Maniac met him, ran into him in the club. He sent me a fucking...
Yeah, we got a picture.
He sent me pictures. Look who I met. And he goes, I gave you all a plug. He's looking at your show. So, all right, great. Great.
He probably saw the ones where we're all drunk and slurring our words and stuff.
No, but if you guys want to see some fucking wild shit, man, go check out the channel Wang. And it's by a Korean American dude, and he's just the shit. Got long fucking black hair and a little fucking mustache and goatee. Looks like something fucking, like something, one of fucking Khan's fucking, or what's his name, fucking Genghis Khan's fucking warriors or something. Like a heavy metal fucking Korean guy. And he's just got a badass show. He's just got great presentation skills. Can dig up some weird ass fucking stories. Fun stories too. Stories about wrestlers that went crazy and died, and they're just everything. Russian porn dudes that put huge fucking glass jars like this up in their asses, and then they break on camera and they take all the glass shards out. That was another one. That was just weird shit.
And that seems like really avoidable. Just gonna say.
He was like some kind of Russian guy that was back in the 90s, and he just got famous for putting things up in his booty hole. And he put that fucking in there, and he says it was the most disturbing video either. It was the most disturbing video ever.
Yeah, I'm not watching that.
That shit fucking busted in his ass, and he had to take, on camera, he was pulling all that glass shards out of himself.
Who could have foreseen this?
He said you could hear it. You could hear it scraping against each other, and blood and shit. And he tells the whole story about what that dude went through. And he was mostly afraid of his family finding out. He couldn't tell anyone.
Well, I'm sure they probably know now. Thanks, Wang. No.
Well, no, he didn't tell Wang.
Yeah, no, I know, but I mean, when it was on Wang's show.
Later on, he did interviews and shit, and he was saying that fucking he was mostly afraid of. He wasn't afraid of dying. He was afraid of having to go to the hospital and fucking.
And everybody finding out.
His family finding out. He was married and had kids, I think. You know, if I remember correctly, he wasn't. He was doing something that was, I guess, popular in the gay crowd, but I don't think he was gay. He was just an anal acrobat. Dude liked things up in his booty. Acrobat. Dangerous things up in his booty, if I remember correctly.
That's a whole series, isn't it?
Yeah.
I thought it was.
Yeah, there's a whole series.
I'm always kind of impressed by people that can stick those big, huge things up there. Right?
Anal acrobats.
I can't do it. I can't do it. And I'm for sure not putting anything glass up there. Right. I mean, that's just asking for trouble.
But he's talking about Blowfly Girl. Blowfly Girl, she was evidently talking on Reddit, and I think it was Reddit.
I think it was even older than that. It might have been...
Something older, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, it might have been like early to mid-2000s, like whatever what was that blogging platform? Like, I don't even remember the name of it.
She was blogging.
Yeah.
And posting videos. I think she was posting videos.
Or pictures.
Pictures.
It was pretty... Because Wang does a lot of stuff about, like, the early days of the internet.
Yeah.
So I think this was even before you could put...
Yeah.
I think she was just putting photos up. I think she was
posting videos, if I remember correctly. If not, she was telling the whole story is what she was doing. She was...
Yeah, 2005, Zach said. That's when the story...
2005, yeah.
That's what I
Zach, was she posting pictures and videos? Or was she just telling the stories? I can't remember. But when Wang read the stories that she had posted, it was almost kind of like you can see it. That's how good she could write. And I don't think she was lying. I think she was doing it.
Yeah.
She had all this self-loathing problems about how ugly she was and what a loser she was.
Yeah.
And she wasn't having any relationships or anything. And she would go find dumpsters that had fucking putrid stuff in them, like rotten meat from meat packing places and stuff, and would get in there with it and let all the maggots crawl all over, and she'd put stuff up in her, inside her stuff, and let everything crawl. And she said she'd be fantasizing about how filthy she was and how her cooch didn't give birth to fucking life. It gave birth to maggots and death and putrid shit. She was just getting off on
It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, and she was like rubbing one out in the garbage. And she would like only post like once every, like 6 months or so, and it went on for years. And then she like dropped off the face of the earth for a couple of years and came back, and she said that she had gotten better.
Yeah.
That she didn't do it anymore, but she had issues and shit. But.
Well, and I think it even got worse than that, because like she didn't even do the stuff with the dumpsters, but then like later on she kept like putting meat up in there and then like leaving it and then letting it rot. And so she'd go home and then she'd like lay in bed for like days at a time
and let it all rot.
And then she'd be like
let flies
shit in the bed and shit like that.
Yeah. It was like
it was pretty special.
She was evidently getting septic and stuff.
It's a pretty gross fucking story. It's a pretty gross fucking story.
Yeah, the self abuse of the cooch.
Yeah,
fucking weird shit.
Yeah, I mean, she clearly had some. Well, she obviously had mental problems, but she seemed.
She knew she had mental problems.
Yeah, she seemed pretty like aware of it.
Yeah,
but she just couldn't seem to stop herself. I guess. So. Weird. Yeah.
What are they saying?
Xanada said, "Nice sex doll. What's its name?"
That's Ariel.
That's what we're just calling her because that's the name of the model.
Yeah.
We'll figure out a name later.
Yeah, give me a thing. I'll let me say Xanada probably just coming in to see it.
Yeah.
These things are.
Now that Xanada's here, I wanted to say thank you very much for sending us Django Unchained.
Yeah.
We will probably be reviewing that soon. Yeah.
We got to see. We're gonna see Mad Max Furiosa tomorrow.
Yeah, we're watching Furiosa tomorrow, so we'll probably do a review of that on Monday. Yeah. But yeah, we're gonna do Django Unchained next.
Get her face. Yeah, so that's what she looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a Piper doll. About $1,300. Expect to pay about $13, but that involves delivery, and they're heavy.
Yeah, so, that thing's like 80 pounds.
Yeah.
So it's all like as much as a real person, just about. Well, a little skinny person.
And it doesn't really come across on video, especially under this lighting. She is realistic looking, but not in it. But she also looks like a drawing, like a. She's not meant to be realistic. She's based on Disney drawings. It's supposed to be the Little Mermaid, but they can't come out and say that. That's copyright infringement.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
And Disney will sue.
But yeah, she's silicone boobs and TPE body.
CB said a guy in the 90s stuck a milk bottle up his ass, it broke, and he died.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that happening very easily. You could bleed to death. I don't know, man. What was that shit you were showing me the other day about people, like, injecting saline into their dicks or balls or whatever?
Santa, because he already knew I wanted to know the price. Yeah, hey, actually, look. Eventually, these are going to be walking around talking. They're going to be hooked up fucking Bluetooth. All right?
Just like in Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah, eventually they will. But look at it this way. For fucking thousands of years, dudes have fucking commissioned hot-ass fucking paintings and sculptures of women.
Yeah.
All right? It's the same thing. It's just an object of art. You don't have to have sex with it. You can. You can bring it up in the bed with you and fucking cuddle with it for all you want. But like a stuffed animal. It don't matter. She's got cute little feet, too.
Yeah, she won't mind.
You know, and... But so far, I think it's worth the $1,300. I mean...
It's really nicely made.
Real nicely made. You set her up, dress her the way you want to dress her. I got more clothes coming for her, different shoes and shit, different wigs. This is Jenny's stuff that's on her now.
Except for that white bikini top.
Yeah, except the white bikini. This came with her.
Yeah, that
came with her. Yeah. And what was I going to say? You could just put it in a nice place in your room. I had her sitting in this chair next to the television. And I'd leave and forget about her and come in and go, whoa, be like startled, like there was a person.
Who the fuck's that?
Like there was a little nude chick or something, a little semi-nude chick.
Why is a little semi-nude chick? Tom would just be like, all right.
Oh, yeah. So I woke up in the middle of the night and went to the bathroom and fucking saw her there, and she didn't spook me. I was just like, oh yeah, I forgot she was there.
Yeah, it didn't really bother me because I kind of made a joke about it when you put it in the chair. I said, "Are we gonna like wake up and forget about it and be like, who the fuck's that?" But it didn't. I got up at like 3 a.m. to go to the bathroom, and
the cats didn't react at all. They knew that wasn't real.
Isn't that funny?
That's not a person.
Yeah, Pookie was just kind of. She was looking at Tom, kind of struggling with it, but she like, "What are you doing?" Like she does with every time he's doing something. But she wasn't interested in. She didn't think it was a person. She didn't think it was a person.
Go straight stripper on you.
There you go. That's fucking funny. Oh my god. Yeah, Xana said, "Yeah, the doll looks good. I might need one of these days." Yeah. We never. I thought Tom was gonna put her in an outfit or something, but she's just over there in her little bikini.
I don't really have a decent outfit.
Oh, that's true. One of the things that he bought is like it's like a hoodie, kind of.
Yeah.
And it
looks better on Jen though.
Yeah, well, I didn't know because she's a lot smaller than me, obviously. So he got a small, I think.
Yeah, it's a small.
And I was like, oh, that sucks that I probably won't be able to wear that because it's really cool. It's got like all these like witchcraft symbols on it and a hood and everything. But we got it, and I was like, and it fit perfect. And I was just like, well, awesome.
Fit better than a medium.
Ashley says that doll is child size, which is very creepy. She doesn't really look like a child, though.
No.
I mean, she's a few inches shorter than I am.
Yeah.
But
she's the size of a human. She's 4'8", but then when you put her in shoes, she would appear to be more like 5 feet tall.
Yeah.
It's mostly about the weight. It's dead weight, so you want to keep it under 100 pounds.
Yeah, because you got to be hefting it around everywhere.
Yeah. So she might be child size for you, but we're child size also. I'm only 5'6".
Yeah.
So
I'm only 5'2", 5'3",
right.
Something like that. So yeah, she's not that much
littler
than me.
Girlfriend's that size.
Right.
So,
yeah, I've had friends that size. Wait, actually, we have a friend who is smaller than that, I think.
Yeah, Kaylee was. Well, she's. You talk about the two Disney girls were that big.
Yeah.
They were Mickey and Minnie Mouse. And
yeah.
They were about that size.
They're about that size.
And then Kaylee was about that size.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because whenever...
Yeah, and she died of cancer.
Yeah, whenever I was standing next to Kaylee, like, I'm short, and she's like, she was way down there.
Yeah, and Kaylee would wear big-ass fucking shoes.
Yeah.
So, you didn't realize how... But Kaylee was probably about 4'9".
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
4'8", around that.
I would imagine.
Little bitty Texican girl.
Yeah. Zeke the plumber said, adult film star Claudia Marie's husband injected saline into his ball bag and shaft, which looks hella fucked up, and his ball bag is bigger than the pecker.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom was showing me a video of that for some reason. I don't remember.
That's well-known trick.
I don't remember how it came up.
Yeah.
But he's like, yeah, look at this, and there's like this big fucking giant.
You can inject a bunch of saline into your scrotum.
If you're into that.
Yeah, you can do it either with needles, or you can do it with an IV bag. And that's like a fetish thing. Some of these fetish parties, you know what I mean? They'll have some dude, he'll be laid out, and they'll be fucking letting the IV drip go into his nuts, and then things are getting his fucking almost the size of a damn tether ball. All right, just big, round, smooth, like a.
And then can I come along and punch him?
He's like the weight, and he's getting off on the weight, and people are all marveling. People, girls are going up and fucking rubbing on it. Damn, damn, But
I would just want to punch him. I don't know what that says about me.
But then the next day, it goes down.
Yeah.
And it all goes to your fucking junk, and your dick will be about 3 or 4 inches in diameter,
like a arm, like a forearm.
It'll be the size of a 40-ounce beer can. It'll be like that for about 18 hours, and those dudes will make a porn scene like that.
I felt so bad for that woman too, because she couldn't even get get it in her mouth. She was just like trying.
Yeah.
And she's just probably like.
Thing is, though, is you can't really get it hard.
Yeah, it was kind of floppy still.
Yeah, it's just they say it feels good. I've never done it. They say it feels great.
Oh, you're gonna do it one of these days.
Yeah, I'd do it. If I found a fucking IV bag, I'd
sounds like shit you would.
I know where to fucking put the needle and everything. Yeah,
that sounds like
I don't give a fuck. I'd videotape it. Get the action cam. I'd have that shit fucking hanging over the side of the chair, just sitting there in the fucking G-string or some shit like that. And it's like, Zach's gonna love this one. Fucking have that shit. I give a fuck. All right.
I know. Yeah.
And then
we have no shame.
No.
No, not at
and
all.
And then there was, I saw a thing on body modifications, and they had a German guy he was a leather daddy, and he was going to the leather daddy scene, and they were having this big meet where, big festival, and he would just go out and let people fucking touch his junk and show it, and he had done that to his dick, but it was permanent. It was silicone.
Oh.
Yeah, he infused himself with silicone. He used medical grade, man, but that's gotta be super dangerous. But his shit was always about that big around and about that fucking big. Almost the size of maybe... It was like the size of, those cans that tennis balls come in?
Yeah.
Like that, but maybe cut like one tennis ball
like
out
a Pringles can.
But cut a little bit of the length of the Pringles can out. It was about like that, and his balls were like fucking huge too. And he'd infuse them with fucking silicone. And he was walking around at that festival with his junk in like some kind of fucking real tight underwear, so you could see all that. And dudes were like, no, not. Gay guys were like, no, it's got to be fake. And he'd pull it out and show it to them. And they would hold it and shit, and they go, that's amazing. That's so fucking amazing. And then they get scared. They go, that can't be good. That's got to be dangerous. And he goes,
he tampered in God's domain.
Yeah. And the German dude is like, he's proud of it. Like, yeah, it's very dangerous. It's very dangerous. And see, that's why I like old school freaky ass motherfuckers. I'm not into this fucking new gay shit. That's just they're trying to be like your parents. Okay. Fucking I like my boy Toby, all right? He's like, I don't understand why he's leather daddy. He's like, I don't understand why I'm gonna cut out all the slurring, okay? Because I don't understand why they want to get married. That's like something your parents would do. I'm gay because I don't have to get married. I'm gonna do this and that. I'm subversive. He's bad. And that's like some shit that in that fetish scene. They're gonna do something that's just fucking totally wrong. Like infuse a whole bunch of fucking silicone into your fucking dick and your fucking nuts, and your shit probably could rot off if you did that wrong. Let's say you got a hold of some silicone that wasn't actually medical grade. They just told you it was. And it had a bunch of bacteria living in it. There's no way to get it out.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't risk that.
And your nuts turn black and they just fucking fall off. Your whole fucking dick falls off. But he was willing to risk it, man. That motherfucker was like, he was going to do a edgy body modification. I respect
Germans,
that.
man.
He's like, he's like a German dude. I do not care if I lose my dick. Inject it. Stop, that's enough. Motherfucker huge as shit.
Yes, it's funny you should mention, because CB just said, I saw it on a TV show on sex injuries. And when it goes wrong, the guy injected heroin in his dick and it got gangrene and fell off.
Yeah.
So.
Anything could happen.
Anything could happen. I mean, it's just hanging out there.
I had shown Jenny a video of a dude that did that. He was siliconed up, and not siliconed, salined up. And I showed her the video, and she's like laughing at the guy. He was a Russian guy. And she couldn't get it in her mouth. She was laughing while she was trying to blow it.
Not me, the woman in the video.
Yeah.
Like,
in the video, it's like laughing, like, you can't do anything with this.
Yeah, she's like... yeah, it's not going in there, bud.
No, he was enjoying it, though.
It's like I could just kind of slobber on the outside.
Yeah. So, back to the doll. I would recommend Piper Doll. I think it's a good company. When they first arrive and they come out of that box, they look like a corpse, man. They don't look good at all. But once you get them loosened up and get a wig on them and fucking, they kind of relax up, they look a lot better. They look more lifelike. But like I said, dudes have been spending money on hot statues and paintings of women for thousands of years to use as just an art object, an object of beauty in the house. And this is the fucking highest tech version of that. You could have a painting, you can have a statue, or you could have a fucking doll that looks better than any statue that you can have sex with if you want to. And look, I've seen what she looks like. She don't look bad. She's just yeah. It's cute. They made sure that everything was cute on it. And yeah, if you're jerking off to porn, what's the difference? The difference here is there's an actual object.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm not bothered really.
Yeah.
Dennis said, "Do they have an Asian one?" Yeah, they have. They have all different kinds.
Yeah, Piper doll.
I think they even have ones that are like elves and shit like, or that might be a different company.
I'm talking about a different company. I'm talking about Piper doll.
Yeah.
Piper doll, which dealers sell. Go to siliconelovers.com. It's shop by brand, and go to Piper doll. Their designs, it's the same Japanese designer, and he is into Disney animation and anime. And some of the anime ones are, of course, they're Asian women, but they have an anime look, and sometimes the anime look is more realistic looking anime, like something out of Akira or something. And other ones look like a cartoon, like an anime cartoon. But I'm not sure if that was actually Piper doll. But and there's different body styles. Don't get silicone dolls. Get a TPE doll. The silicone dolls are twice as expensive. They're real heavy, and they don't last very long. They're not really rugged. You want to get the regular one, which is about $1,300 for a size about like that. Between $1,300 and $1,500 delivered, and get all the best options, and it'll come up to about $1,300. You can just say like the photo when you go on. If you select one like the photo in the ordering process, you'll get it a lot sooner. If you make any changes outside the custom stock model, it takes a lot longer for them to make that, and it's really not worth it, because the stock model is versatile enough. You can make any character you want out of the stock models.
Yeah, because we got wigs all day long.
Yep.
We got all kind of different clothes. You can put
Yep.
makeup on her. You can even, the guy told us you could even put like fake tattoos on there.
They'll accept fake tattoos.
They'll do like, you can
fingernails.
you can put fake nails on her, fake lashes. Mm-hmm. Most of the same stuff. You have to like I said, particularly with makeup, you can only do powder.
Yeah, powder makeup.
Type makeup. You can't do like liquid eyeliner or anything like that.
Yeah, and nothing with like lipstick that is greasy. It'll never come off.
Yeah.
It's got to be powder, which is cheap. You can get that.
Yeah, and like I said, I've got 40 bajillion palettes of eyeshadow and stuff like that in colors that I never use.
Yeah, and you go on a site like Shein, and there's a shit ton of cheap wigs. All right, and there's lots of shoes. They wear 5.5 size 5.5 shoe, and they got little stripper shoes, about $20, 5.5. 5.5 size 5.5 US, and even at 5.5, they basically just come right off.
Yeah, I really like those shoes. Tom got me a pair too in my size.
Yeah, and they got cute little feet. Cute little feet.
Because like I said, my feet aren't that much bigger than that, but they're still like a little bit bigger.
See, they got little
feet.
They don't have bones in the toes. But
so the toes are a little floppy.
But this is a standing foot. She's got these little metal tabs here. She can stand, theoretically.
Theoretically.
Might just want to keep her in doggy position, though, and shit like that. But she can support weight there.
Yeah, they don't really recommend that you leave them standing.
You don't want to... Yeah.
You don't really want to leave them in the same position for a long time.
Now, there's a hole in the top of the head. You can't see it. It's under the wig. And you can put a screw in there that has an eye, and then there's a little S hook. And for long-term storage, if you want them standing for display, what you do is you put an eye in the ceiling and a chain. Yeah, you like
suspend them.
Suspend them from the head.
So they don't.
Right. And you do it just right so the feet are on the floor. That dude, I'll show you how that guy displays his, that French porn star. He's got 3 of them.
And he makes videos. He makes videos with them.
Yeah, he's got 4 of them. 3 of them are Piper dolls. And he keeps them displayed in his room, standing there. One of them's on roller skates, and They're all in little outfits.
Xanada said Tom literally bought the damn doll so he could have something to put shoes on.
That's a good idea, yeah.
I mean, pretty much.
I love shoes.
He loves shoes.
I'm a shoe man.
Well, last
fetish.
night he took the little lacy white socks off of her and put them on my feet.
Yeah.
And then put my like really uncomfortable stripper shoes.
Yeah, to see
on my feet.
See what they look like.
To see what they look like with the socks on. The stripper shoes that I absolutely cannot walk in.
Yeah.
They look good, but I can't walk in them. I think I wore them out one time and it was like torture.
This is his display of 3 of them. The small one is an Ariel, like the one that behind us. The middle one is a Jessica Rabbit, and the bigger one is a crystal. And they're hanging from the ceiling. See the chain?
Yeah.
And they're in little shoes and roller skates and shit.
I like the roller skates.
Yeah. He's also got bimbo dolls. Just extreme shit.
Yeah, with the big lips and everything.
Yeah, the big lips and the huge...
Murder Hornet said Tom gonna cheat on Jen with the doll.
We're all gonna cheat on Jen with it now.
What?
We're all gonna hit that doll. All right. That's the back of the one that's behind me. That's what they look like in a kneeling position. That's an Ariel. Okay. Let me see if we got a good picture of a...
What other... Did you get another... You got the long white wig, right?
Yeah, it's back.
Because I have a short white wig, but he got a long white one. And what was that other one that you got? It was like a teal...
Yeah, that's the one that came with it.
Oh, okay.
Here's the...
Oh, that's right. Okay. I wonder what that... I'm going to have to try that one out and see what it looks like.
That's the face of a Jessica Rabbit doll. But you see, he's got it tricked up differently. It's different makeup, it's a different wig, different eyeballs. The eyes are only a couple bucks. You swap them out. Okay. That's a crystal. Also, crystal doll from Piper Doll. That's the one that's almost 110 pounds. She's about 5'1". And he says it wears him out. He doesn't really mess with that one.
Yeah.
It's just too heavy. He likes how it looks, though.
Yeah, Camp Guy brought up Roller Girl. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
From Boogie Nights.
That's one of his bimbo dolls.
Phantom says most German female adult star are so filled up with metal piercings that it looks like a display case at a piercing pavilion. Yeah, they do have a lot of They're real into that kind of shit. It's a lot of piercing fetish and all that kind of stuff over there. I've noticed that as well.
That's the doll behind me. That's a Piper. That's what its booty looks like. But the reason why a lot of guys like these is because this sculptor likes Western women. So he makes sure that they actually have musculature on them. They have calves and thighs and stuff. A lot of the Chinese sculptors will sculpt in the way they like Chinese women with just little stick legs. It just looks
It's a little
crazy.
weird looking.
Yeah, weird looking.
But, you know. Also, Murder Hornet said that you won't send him vids.
He doesn't know what he's talking about.
I don't know what that's all about.
We haven't made any new stuff, huh?
Well, yeah, that's why we got that. Like,
Yeah,
we're just, you know, like I said, we're trying to
Yeah.
loosen our joints up, and then we're gonna make videos. That's where.
Yeah.
That's why Tom spent all that money on it. So we could have.
We got new shit we're gonna do.
So we could have a new angle.
Yeah. What did he say?
Let me see. I think Zach asked me a question earlier because he had sent me. He was talking about a character that he had created, like this rock star character that he was gonna base a story around, and he had made portraits of him like with AI. And I said he kind of looked like a young Michael Shannon, mixed with who was the guy that played Pennywise, Bill Skarsgård. He kind of looked like that a little bit. And then Zach asked me if I'd ever thought of a character first and then based a story around it. I don't think I've ever done that. I think pretty much every story that I ever came up with it was either...
Take you a drink?
Yeah. It was either, like, just the concept. Like, I had a dream that had, like, a weird concept, or I was, like, reading a book, like a nonfiction book, and I came across some interesting fact or historical fact, and then my brain started making a story about it. So it's usually, like, a scenario that I think of. But I don't think I've ever done that. Not that I remember, anyway. And let's see. Camp Guy said, CrimeCon 2024. Nashville, Tennessee next weekend. I've always been kind of interested in going to that, actually. Is it always in Nashville, or do they move it around? Because I remember looking into going one year, but I don't remember if it was in Nashville or not. That was like a few years back. John Walsh is going to be there. John Douglas, John Ramsey. Damn. Yeah, it sounded super fun. Because I think I was looking into it after my Faceless Villain books came out. And I looked into how much it would be to go, like, to get a booth. You know what I mean? To, like, sell the books there. But I think it was, like, too cost prohibitive. Yeah, I said I think they move it around. Yeah, that's what I thought, too. I don't remember where it was.
There you go.
Thanks. Maybe it was here. Maybe it was in Florida, and that's why I was thinking about it. Like, maybe it was in Orlando or Tampa or something. But like I said, it was too expensive. You really have to be... To get a booth at one of those places... You really have to be, like, somebody can... And you really have to sell a lot of stuff to, like, make it worth your while. You know? Those conventions. Because they charge a lot to get a booth. The one... When we did the horror conventions, we lucked out because we just kind of pooled together with, like... You know, the publisher. And they had... So they had a bunch of writers, and they paid for everybody to go. So I didn't have to pay for my own booth. I mean, but you had to sit at the booth with all the other writers. But each writer had their own space, you know what I mean? But I didn't have to pay. You still had to pay to park, and you had to pay for food and all that other kind of crap. But you didn't have to pay the fee to get in. Yeah, he's talking about CrimeCon, the convention of, like, all the true crime kind of stuff. Which I looked into going one year, but it was too expensive. CB said a girl at the bar has spent thousands to look like Jessica Rabbit. She's gorgeous, but she always ends up raking you. Oh, because of the size of her... Oh, because of the size of her mouth, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah. I was trying to think what word that might be, because that didn't make any sense.
Spell check, probably got him.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, Xana said, is Lazy Masquerade going to be there? Probably not. I mean, isn't he South African, or who am I thinking of? Or British or something like that. I don't even think he lives over here. So yeah, so Tom goes to the bar today.
Yeah.
To Oasis.
Yeah.
Well, and he comes home and he says, well, if I smell like a cheap whore, it's because...
Smell like hose.
So yeah, like it smell like it's Amy, the bartender.
It's Amy, yeah.
And I was just kind of like, yeah, sure, a likely story. No,
it is.
She was hugging on him, trying to get us to take her kittens.
She's got 3 of them. Yeah, 3 left.
She's got 3 kittens left.
Yeah.
And so Amy kept going, send the pictures of the cats. Send these to your wife. Yeah. And I was like, please don't send them to me because I'll make you take them.
Yeah, I was looking at them. Yeah, there were two of them.
Now I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, 2 of them are kind of like the gray cats with the dark stripes, and the other one was like a tuxedo cat.
Oh.
Yeah.
You can't send me pictures of kittens that you're giving me away because I'm a sucker. I'll take all of them. But I don't really want to do that because I don't know. I want a kitten, but then we just got Bambi. We haven't even had Bambi a year.
No, a couple months.
We got her last August. And
it's almost a year.
Yeah, so like look how long it took for like her and Pookie to kind of reach a kind of
couple months.
Peace.
4 or 5 months.
And last night, the first time since Bambi has lived with us, she actually jumped up on the bed of her own accord.
Yeah.
And I was so proud of her. She only stayed up for like a minute. I don't know why she's so freaked out about jumping on the bed. She just doesn't want to. Because Pookie will jump up on the bed. Well, hell, Pookie woke me up this morning jumping right on my bladder. Mm-hmm. Which, you know what I mean? Just like, pat! Just starts making biscuits. I'm just like, thanks a lot. It's like 7 in the morning. So, But Bambi, for whatever reason, like, Tom will try to pick her up and put her on the bed. It's like, look, it's fine. You can come up here and stuff. And she's like, no. She's, like, acting like she doesn't want to, like, she's not allowed to be up there. So we thought maybe she had some kind of past trauma or something. So I'm always trying to get her to come up on the bed, but she wouldn't. But last night she actually did. When Tom was in the shower or something, and I was, like, sitting there on my phone, and she kind of came over, and I was like, come up. And she's like, I don't know. But then, like, she did. She came up and I petted her, and then she jumped back down. But so, I don't know. I want all the cats, but on the other hand, I don't want to be unfair to the cats that we have. You know, and like they wouldn't get as much attention and they'd be mad. Kind of, you know? Because it's kind of like Pookie is already, whenever you pet Bambi and Pookie sees it, she always gives you that death glare. Like, why are you petting that other kitty?
It is Friday. The weekend is upon us. Thought about going out, but man, we got to go to. We got to do the goth night on Sunday.
It's Sunday night because it's a holiday weekend.
It's holiday Monday, and then tomorrow, this is gonna be great. Tomorrow, we're gonna see Mad Max Furiosa.
Yep.
In Dolby Theater.
Dolby, yeah.
They didn't have 3D anymore, did they?
No.
They didn't have 3D. Okay.
I looked. It was in IMAX and Dolby and regular.
That's good enough. It's good enough.
And I even got our favorite seats.
Good.
In the second row. Like,
good.
In the middle.
So it's tomorrow at 3?
3:30.
3:30. Okay. So we can get something to eat before we go.
Yeah.
All right.
Because that's like a longer drive.
Yeah.
But the closer movie theater doesn't... Well, it's not that much closer, but the closer movie theater doesn't have Dolby.
Maybe we ought to go to Koi Wan before.
Yeah, because that's not far.
It's not far. And see, we'll have some high-quality Chinese buffet. We'll get there around 10. No, we'll get there about noon, probably.
Yeah, because they don't open until 11. Don't get excited.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And then we'll just sit and digest and watch that damn movie.
Then we'll have to get some candy, like, on the way,
Get some candy. I'll get some candy. Get some candy at CVS.
Or
Just my CVS candy. And what's funny is you go into CVS and you buy that candy and they goes, you guys going to the movies, aren't you?
Well, that's why it's
That's
there.
all they do. Yeah.
I mean,
CVS fucking smuggles all the movie candy. And I got to get Juicy Fruits.
Juji fruits.
Juji Fruits. I like those. Oh yeah, they're fucking hard and chewy and shit. I like the old man candy.
He does like old man candy.
Juji Fruits. Mike and Ike's.
I was going to say you like that.
Yeah, I eat those too. What else do I get?
It's
mostly those two.
Yeah, you mostly just get gummy bears sometimes.
Yeah.
Like you like
That's not classic
that
candy,
fruity gummy candy.
Yeah.
Like you've gotten Starburst before.
Yeah.
I like Starburst.
That's because I couldn't get Juji Fruits though.
Right. Juji Fruits are the ones with the weird shapes, right?
Yeah.
That are supposed to be like corn and shit.
Yeah. It was just
and we were having
shit
this big debate over what the shapes were supposed to be.
Yeah, I found out what they were supposed to be.
Yeah, well, I was curious, so I looked it up on Wikipedia.
Pod,
yeah.
Flowers.
It's like a little corn on the cob.
Yeah.
Thing.
A corn on the cob, peas in the pod, flowers. I think that's it. Or maybe not a flower. It might have been an artichoke, something like that. I think a flower. The original molds had nothing to do with candy. They were molds that were had something to do with vegetables, and the company repurposed them. So it had nothing to do with candy.
Yeah,
you know like why is corn? Why is it shaped like corn?
It doesn't taste like corn.
It doesn't taste. Yeah, it's not corn flavored. It's because that's just the molds that they had.
Yeah. And then people just got used to it, so they're like, "Yeah, fuck it. Okay, we're running with this now."
Yeah, that became the thing. Although they changed some shit. The green ones used to be mint. They got rid of mint. They replaced them with lime.
I wonder why.
Because mint sucked, man. Everybody threw the fucking mint ones out.
What are you talking about? Mint's delicious.
The mint didn't match. It didn't match with any of the other flavors.
Okay. I love mint. I love mint anything pretty much.
It was fruit flavor and anise or black licorice.
Okay, now that's
all right. And then they'd have a mint one in there that nobody ate. Everybody hated the green ones. And I like Juji Fruits, and I hated the fucking green ones. I was like, oh man, it's a green one. And it didn't matter what the last Juji Fruit you ate was. That mint didn't match with it. It was like throwing toothpaste into the mix. You know what I mean?
They should have just had a whole box of mint ones and then left them out of the other flavors.
I looked into that. They said, well, mint is what they had. That was one of the flavors that they had.
It's just shit we had laying around, you guys. We didn't think about it too much.
And this is back in the early 1900s. And mint was one of them that they had. So they used it. But nobody liked it. Maybe, not in the modern era. So they replaced it with lime, and it's a lot better. Because it matches all the rest of the flavors.
Right, yeah, I gotcha.
It doesn't clash with them.
Mint is
clash with everything.
Mint is kind of its own thing.
Yeah, and
mint has to be,
and it does not mix with fruit flavor.
No,
that's why you can't.
I agree.
That's why you can't drink orange juice after you brush your teeth.
Yeah,
that shit. Fucking, you crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah, you might as well electrocute your own tongue or something.
Yeah,
it just doesn't fucking.
And
work.
And like I said, I love mint everything. Yeah. Mint is one of my very favorite flavors, and I love mint candy. Well, I like chocolate and mint together. I love peppermint, all that stuff. Let me see. CB said if you get a new cat, get a female, because females don't start
they all have
hitting
females.
each other. Yeah, all three of our cats are girls. And that's I don't know. You know what's weird?
Actually, I like having tomcats, but
I don't think I've ever had a male cat since I was a kid. I've always ended up with female cats for whatever reason.
Well, I've had male cats that were fixed, which is not a tomcat, and I've had tomcats. Tomcats are actually better, but you can only have a tomcat if you live in the country, like out in Mississippi. And you really shouldn't let a tomcat into the house, because they'll just spray on everything.
Yeah.
They piss on everything. They try to market their territory in there.
Mm-hmm.
But we had tomcats before, but they were like back porch tomcats.
Yeah, they weren't like inside cats.
They didn't come into the house. They came on the back porch and lived on the back porch in a cat house. And you fed them and everything, and then they spent all day outside. And you could bring him into the house, but you had to watch him. And
as soon as he starts lifting that,
up. Well, no, they just back up and shit, spray out the back.
You're like, damn, I'm never gonna get that smell out.
They try to do it. Yeah, there's certain chemicals you have to do it, but
it's pretty stinky.
The best thing to do is not to let them in the house.
Yeah.
Sometimes they come in anyway. They'll run in. But what's good about tomcats is all that damn testosterone. And they're not real affectionate. They'll come up to you and let you pet under their own terms for a certain amount. Then they get sick of you and they're like, okay, I gotta go. But them bitches are all upper body and they walk slow and shit. And they look at you like, yeah, motherfucker. Their heads are all scarred up from fighting. You're like, yeah.
It's like Tom in cat form.
Yeah. Funny. Get out of the way. Yeah. They're fucking macho, man.
Yeah.
And if you impede them, a normal cat will just whine and complain. If you impede a tomcat, he'll fight back. Get the fucking get away from me.
Again, that's like you.
That's why you don't want to bring him in the house.
Yeah, no.
But you can feed him and pet him. Just know that there's a limit. They'll sometimes look at you like, you've been petting me too long, I'm going to fuck you up.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. It's just, I don't know. Like, I know all cats are different and they all have their own little personalities and stuff. But I see, like, kind of all these memes about cats, and it's like, oh, if you pet them a long time and they'll bite you and stuff like that, which... Our cats will. Yeah, our cats don't really do that. Like, if you touch Pookie's feet, like back feet, like, she'll get mad at you for sure.
Yeah.
But she doesn't bite. She just, if she does it, she just kind of goes, like that, like, knock that off. Like, she doesn't like her back.
Tomcats think they're lions.
Yeah.
They're filled with all them damn from the hormones. But the tomcats that we had, you pet them a little bit and then you walk. And they follow you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't want all this love and shit. You know what I mean?
Ew.
They want, it's like
love and shit.
They want respect and they want to walk around. Like stop being, man. What are you, gay? Fuck off. Or like that, That's gay, man. Stop touching me.
I mean, mean,
that.
that's
like
the
that.
thing. I mean, some cats are very aloof. Like
Yeah.
Beijing, who is a female cat, I mean, she's a lot more aloof than our other two cats are.
Yeah.
But I mean, Pookie and Bambi are like, man, they just are crawling up your ass like all day long.
Yeah, but those are definitely female energy, female personalities. So if you have a tomcat, you'll see what male cat energy is. They're dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
And it's not the same as a male that's been fixed. We're talking about a straight up tomcat that's got balls.
Yeah.
They're cool, but they're very limited. You know, they're about boundaries.
Well, cats in general, and I think that's why some people that are more dog people don't get cats or don't like cats, because cats, you have to kind of approach them on their own terms. You can't just act like they're a dog. You know what I mean? It's not really the same.
They're not people pleasers.
No, not really. Which is one thing I always kind of liked about them. Like, they're not constantly. Although, that said...
Pookie tries to people please. But,
big time.
But
and
she's also needy.
Yeah.
She wants you to fucking just do whatever she says.
Well,
and what's funny is that she tricks me into it.
Yeah. She's spoiled rotten.
She very much manipulates me.
Yeah. And it's so funny. Like, we know she's manipulating.
It's obvious.
And she knows she's manipulating.
Yeah, she's like, I made him do it. Because she'll just start smacking shit. Pow! You know, smacking the shades. Pow! Just stop it. She goes, well, come over and fight me then. Come over.
Yeah, come stop me.
Yeah,
come stop me.
She wants to wrestle. So, pow! Acting bad. And I'm going, you stop it. And I'll grab her. And she's like, ha, ha, ha. We're gonna fight. You know, she loves to wrestle.
Well, that's, I mean, anytime she wants something.
Yeah.
She'll just... She
Start
knows...
smacking something.
She knows exactly what noise to make. And that'll make everybody get up and be like, what are you doing? You know?
Yeah.
Well, like, when she comes in here, sometimes if she gets mad if we're on the show too long, she comes in here and starts pulling books out of my bookshelf and, like, scraping her claws against the paper. Bambi is not like that, but Bambi follows me around everywhere.
CB says we should get some British sweets, whatever that is.
They have really good ones over there.
Yeah.
I really liked, I liked the Cadbury Fruit and Nut Bar. I liked the Aero bar, like the mint one. Walnut Whips, those were really good. I just think you can't really get those over here, but you can get like a lot of the other candy bars and stuff.
You can get anything here if you order it. It's just you may not be able to get it retail.
Publix usually has a small British section.
Yeah.
And it has candy, curry sauces, HP sauce.
Yeah.
Just, custard creams, like biscuits and what are the other ones? Digestive biscuits, stuff like that. So it has all that kind of stuff. You can get pretty much anything in Publix, at least in every Publix I've ever been to around here. But you can't get Walnut Whips, though. I mean, you can order them, but I've never seen them in a store. But I've seen pretty much every other British candy bar in a store, because I've even bought them. And we have like Indian spice stores too, like Indian grocery stores, and they have like a whole bunch of British stuff too.
Yeah, it's more authentic than the British stuff, actually.
So
you just go to
it's
Indian
not
and
too
Pakistani stores.
Yeah, because we have a lot of those around here.
Yeah.
Not a lot, but
we're friends with the girls that work there. They'll fucking take you whole shopping with get this one and this one, and they're actually, what's funny is that when you go to the Indian and Pakistani markets here, me and Jenny be the only white people in there.
Yeah.
and Indian girls want to come shop with us and ask us what it is we need, and they're customers.
Yeah.
They don't work there. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Tom's not shy, but he's like, well, I'm making this. He's like, what is the best thing for that?
Just start, you need to get this and this and that.
They'll give you all kind of advice.
You cook this? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah.
Well, they like that. Yeah. I guess they like that people are cooking
their food,
cuisine, I suppose.
Yeah.
Because I guess a lot of people don't do that. Because, honestly, sadly, you don't really see that many white people in there.
I got the Instapot. Indian Instapot.
The cookbook.
Yeah, I haven't tried it yet. But they got korma in there. They got a bunch of different
we were
curries.
flipping through it, and I was like...
They got everything in there. How to make paneer. That's out of
We need to make paneer one of these days.
Yeah, it's not that hard.
No, I know it's not. It's one of the easier cheeses to make, actually. For some reason, I love paneer. There's just something about... It's very mild. Like, it's kind of like mozzarella a little bit.
It's considered to be a simple cottage cheese.
Yeah.
But it's not cottage cheese as Americans know it. It's
not as loose as cottage cheese.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's more like tofu.
Like a tofu
kind of texture.
A little bit harder than tofu, chewier. But tofu would be the closest thing. Like, imagine you took tofu and gave it the consistency of kind of like Swiss cheese. Kind of like that. But it doesn't melt. It just, when it gets hot, it doesn't melt. It holds together.
Yeah, so it's just like cubes.
Yeah.
Whenever we get a Fifth Element, the Indian buffet, they always, their paneer dishes are out of this world.
It's funny because, like, Fifth Element, their vegetarian stuff is better than the meat stuff a lot of times. I'm not a vegetarian, but when it comes to Indian food, they're Indian vegetarians. It's manly. That's just masculine.
I mean, if you're a vegetarian and you don't know how to cook Indian food, learn how to cook Indian food because they have the best vegetarian food. Yeah. Well, sometimes we go to Fifth Element and I end up eating all vegetarian stuff without meaning to, just because that's what was good.
Yeah, and a friend of the family is she's a doctor. She's from India. She lives around here, and her husband is also a doctor. She's the one that recommended that Instapot cookbook.
Yeah.
To me, so I got it. That's the cookbook that she used, and it's in English. But she says that she changes it just a little bit. She has her own slight variations on it, but she says that was everything in that cookbook was the starting point that she used for cooking the food in Instapot. And she said that, and she's Indian now, straight up from India. She says the fucking Instapot is the way to cook Indian food. She says it's the best way.
Yeah.
She's got 2 of them. And she'll be running 2 Instapots. Different dishes, the main and the side.
I can see why everybody got, super into the Instant Pot. Yeah. I mean, it is a very convenient... That and the air fryer, you can make all kind of shit, in the Instant Pot and the air fryer. It's just, I don't know how people lived without that stuff.
Well, you start certain sautés and stuff, sautéing onions and spices when you're on sauté mode, and you throw a bunch of raw meat into it and some kind of fluid like water and pressure cook it, and it comes out perfect. She says it's consistent. And you just follow the recipe.
Well, I think that's what a lot of people liked about it is that you just put the ingredients in there, you did it exactly, and it came out the same, every single time.
And there's the recipes in there on how to make garam masala, which is the spice mixes that you need to make Indian food. They generally start with garam masala, which is just a general spice mix that is usually like a base. And then they'll put some other stuff on it. It depends on the recipe.
And everybody has their own.
Everybody has their own garam masala version. Yeah, they're not all the same. You can get it pre-mixed, but each company has their own slight variation.
Yeah, they don't all taste the same.
Right. But you can save a lot of money if you just make your own. And I have never made my own. It's easy, but I just never made my own.
Remember I bought you that thing for Christmas a couple years back, that Indian spice?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
I still got
that tin thing. It's a big round thing. It has all the smaller little tins in it. And a little spot for each little spice.
I still got that down there.
Yeah.
Probably still got spices sitting into it.
Yeah,
probably. It's got a lid on it. I haven't seen it in years, though. It's probably time to change all the spices out.
Yeah, that's been there a while.
Been there for years. Yeah, but that's good for making Indian dishes just on the fly. Because you got all your spices ready, and they're open.
Yeah.
And then you put a big lid on it. It's a round tray. And then it's these little round metal bowls.
Yeah.
And it's got a lid that can go over the whole tray. So you can keep all your spices there. And just throw them in the pan as you need them, and then put the lid back on it and put it back in the...
Yeah, it's pretty handy.
That way you're not pulling out all these little glass fucking shakers and shit.
Or the big plastic ones.
Or the big plastic ones. I'm good with dealing with those.
Like you get at Sam's.
Yeah. I save a lot of jars. Because I'll save stuff in it. Drippings. Fucking chicken, what do you call it? Like if you're pressure cooking chicken, all that damn
the
chicken broth. Yeah, I'm gonna save that. I'll pour that into an old pickle jar. I have some of these huge pickle jars. Put that in the refrigerator. And then come back and make something with it. Try not to waste things. But I got enough jars up there now where I could start making spice mixes and then label them and keep it in those glass jars. And just get it out as I needed it. So I'm going to get back into that. I'm going to get into that cookbook, that Indian cookbook again. Make a bunch of garam masala.
Yeah, because we haven't made Indian food in a while. We've kind
Make
of
some garam masala.
We kind of got lazy. We just started going out and getting it.
Make some garam masala and maybe pre-make something kind of like butter chicken seasoning mix. You know?
Butter chicken.
Yeah. It's probably Kashmiri chili and garam masala, just at the right ratio. Anyway, we gotta change the subject. Talking too much about food.
That's okay.
Okay.
There's no regulation.
Yeah.
I don't have any notes or anything. Xana said the CVS by my house always has chocolate buy one get one 50% off the good expensive shit too. Like Russell Stover's, Whitman, Ghirardelli. Yeah, CVS is real good to go to for like movie candy too because they have a whole aisle of all the boxed movie candy and it's always like 2 for 1 because they know people are going in there. And the thing about it was last time we went to AMC and we didn't buy any candy beforehand because we forgot. And they don't have as much candy of it. They have candy, but they don't have like the vast array that they used to have. Because I guess they're just, and you know, obviously it's $5 or $6 each, where you could probably get it for $1 or $2 at CVS. But they didn't even have. There was a lot of stuff they didn't have. They didn't have no snow caps. They didn't have. I don't know. They didn't have a bunch of stuff that they didn't usually have. They've really like curtailed their. Because I guess they know that everybody's just buying shit at CVS and sneaking it into their purse. Because why wouldn't you? Because you were looking for some shit last time and they didn't have it, right?
Yeah. I was looking for Juji fruits.
I mean, when I had AMC stubs and like, you know, you get like a $5 coupon every now and then, like $5 off. And so I'd be like, oh, well, I'll just get candy at the theater because, you know, it's essentially free. I would usually just get a bag of like chocolate covered almonds or something like that. But they don't really have a lot of like a huge range of candy in there anymore.
I like Juji fruits. I like Dots. Mike and Ike's.
That was the other one, Dots.
Dots, yeah.
You get that all the time.
And then
that's bullshit candy. I don't like that.
Yeah, I like that bullshit candy.
I don't like any of that bullshit candy.
I like that bullshit candy.
Like I said, I like stuff with chocolate or nuts. I do like Starburst, though. I will give
I will eat Necco wafers. That's how old school I am.
Yeah, that is gross as hell. That's like not even food.
1800s candy.
That's when people didn't know any better.
Yeah, I like them, though.
They didn't even have like inside sanitation or anything, yeah. And that was like the one bright spot in their miserable existence was like a Necco wafer. How depressing is that?
Yeah.
How depressing.
And they were
that?
like mint, chocolate, licorice, black licorice, and then
don't fuck with me. They do not have flavors.
Yeah, they did. They had flavors, but they were very mild. And then the other ones, I couldn't tell you what flavor they were.
Yeah,
they were like
exactly.
They were like dust flavored.
Yeah, they all taste like dust flavored.
Dust flavored.
Floor sweepings
flavor. They kind of had a flavor.
Mm-mm.
They weren't strong flavored. They were real mild.
Like I said, that's the kind of candy you got when they didn't know any better.
Well, you were a little kid, you could get it for a nickel, and it came wrapped in wax paper. That big old roll.
Yeah, but even then, you could get like now and laters and stuff, which were like a lot better.
I would get those too. I would get
especially
it all.
The watermelon ones.
I would get it all. We would go down there with like $1, and we thought we were rich as fuck. Going down there, and let me get a Necco wafer. Let me get some. Let me get
some now and laters and a comic book.
Yeah. Give me a
back in my day.
Yeah.
You could get candy and a comic book with just $1.
See, they had
not really.
They had Jolly Rancher sticks.
Yeah,
remember those?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd get like a watermelon stick.
The watermelon are the best one. Strawberry's pretty good.
Green apple stick and a cinnamon stick. I'd be like, oh man, this is so hot. You know what I mean? For the cinnamon stick. And then they had some high tech flavors come out, like pineapple and lemon. When those came out, we were blown away. Remember when those were new?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, lemon's good. I like lemon flavored pretty much.
Yeah, lemon, pineapple. They had a shit ton of flavors. They were all good. Jolly Rancher didn't have a bad flavor. All their flavors were good.
Yeah, I don't remember any of them being like gross or anything.
They were all good.
They were super artificial tasting, but in a good, delicious way.
Yeah. When you were a kid, you didn't matter. And if it was a stick, you'd be fucking sucking on that shit. It'd end up sticking to the roof of your mouth like a retainer.
Yep.
And you'd pull it out, and it'd be shaped to the roof of your mouth.
Yeah, I remember that.
It'd be razor sharp, and you'd fucking cut yourself on them.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember those things.
was just thinking about when you said about the lemon ones. We were at Publix the other day getting a bunch of stuff, getting cat treats and whatnot, and had to stock up on some small Debras.
Yeah.
As we do.
Well, yeah.
And they had the Mother's Day one still, because it was a little bit after Mother's Day, but they had the Mother's Day one still, and they're lemon. They're little bars, but they're like lemon.
Oracle just showed up.
And then, and Tom's like, well, we should get some of those. I'm like, well, it's lemon, but what if they're not good? But we got them, and those things are fucking delicious. They're like super, super lemony. I think we only have one left, though.
What were they?
The lemon Mother's Day cakes that we got.
Oh,
the little
yeah.
Debbie's.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were real good.
Yeah.
We have to get more of them. Although they're just Mother's Day, so I guess they don't have them all the time.
Oracle just showed up. She's seeing the sex doll. She's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it was a whole thing.
Yeah, you missed that.
It was a whole thing. Oh, the Phantom says, what does Tom and Jenny think of the newest allegations against the Warrens, referring to Ed taking in a live-in mistress? Yeah, I think we mentioned that on the show. And making her pregnant, a.k.a. Judith Penny. Do y'all think it's true?
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, she was underage.
Yeah.
She's underage.
Did we mention that on the Warrens?
Yeah.
We probably mentioned it on the second one.
Yeah, I think we mentioned it.
That
she was an underage girl that moved in with them.
Mm-hmm.
And they were taking care of her, and evidently she got knocked up.
Wonder how that could have happened.
Well, we know how that happened.
It's a mystery.
We know how that happened. Yeah.
It's a mystery.
Yeah. For all we know, fucking the Warrens were probably pretty fucking kinky.
It's always those kind of types, isn't it? The ones that are always kind of like super uptight and always like telling other people what to do. They're always like the worst.
Well, it was
ones.
more like an act.
Well, yeah.
I don't think there's anything really legitimate about the Warrens.
No.
I don't think they believed in anything that they were saying.
No.
I do think that a couple of the cases they were on were paranormal, but I don't think they had much to do with that, with the paranormal stuff. Like, for instance, Enfield Poltergeist was a real case. I absolutely believe it based upon what's written. I don't believe everything that was written, but witnesses' testimony is going to vary. People are going to say whatever. Sometimes they're going to bullshit. Well, they showed up. They kind of forced their way onto that case. That wasn't theirs. That was Guy Lyon Playfair and fucking, what was his name? That parasite?
Morris Gross.
Morris Gross, who were both real respectable guys. And Ed Warren tried to bully his way onto the case, and they just told him to get fucking lost. He was only in there for a few hours. And then he claimed that he was on that case and did all kinds of shit. And
everybody else that worked on it were like,
yeah.
No. He just showed up on the doorstep, and we're like, who the fuck are you?
according to, like, Guy Playfair and Morris Gross, he wasn't there long enough to see any phenomenon. So he didn't see any phenomenon. But he lied and said he did.
Well, they never met a case that they couldn't make some cash off of.
Yeah.
So
they just show up and then claim, and so they can turn around and go on the talk show circus. Oh yeah, we were involved on that case. We were there.
Yeah, we heard this case.
Yeah, they were there, but
famous.
they were there for like 20 minutes.
So we're gonna show up uninvited.
Yeah.
And worm our way in, so we can say we were there, which technically was true, but nobody asked them.
Yeah.
So, I mean. Somebody said about when you wonder who's buying the Swedish fish. Tom buys those sometimes.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So Tom is buying.
I like Swedish
He's probably the only person buying them in Florida. He's keeping the Florida.
No, they got other old men buying them sticks.
The old people candy.
I like Swedish fish too, man. Yeah.
I'm just not like, I'll eat it if that's the only candy that's available is like gummy candy and stuff, and I really, really want some candy.
Yeah.
Then I'll eat it. I don't hate it. But it's just kind of like, it's just why bother candy to me? It's just I'd probably rather have nothing.
You have to have a serious fucking penchant for fucking fruit candy.
Yeah.
I like those.
Like I said, I like Starburst.
Yeah.
Well, I like some flavors of Starburst. Yeah. I like the strawberry ones, the cherry ones, the orange ones, the lemon ones. The other flavors can get fucked.
Starburst is ghetto. It is ghetto taffy. I'd actually like the taffy. Now, Jen has seen me do this. I'll go on fucking Amazon and buy a 10-pound bag of fucking taffy.
I bought him one year from like a fancy like Amazon candy store. I think it was a 10-pound bag.
Yeah, and y'all better stand the fuck back.
And I think he ate the whole.
I'll eat that whole fucking thing in a day. And we'll be trying to resist it. No, I can't eat any more of this shit. And then
oh, well, I guess I can.
I can't eat any more of this. Damn. slowly, I love that. And I tend to like, people sent me good quality taffy. It's good. I tend to like cheap taffy. I like that. I think, it's all good, but for some reason I like the cheap taffy.
I do like the peppermint taffy. Like the one time that I got you that big bag or that big barrel of like all the mixed flavors, and you didn't really like the peppermint ones, but so he gave those all to me, and those were pretty good.
Yeah, peppermint was not my favorite. I like the other stuff, like the black licorice, the black licorice, the peanut butter.
No, the peanut butter ones were good. I will give you that.
The fruit flavored ones are good. Yeah, they're fucking good, man.
I don't know. Like I said, a lot of fruit candy just seems like why bother to me. I would rather have something that was...
See, Xanada, he understands taffy.
We have an understanding about the taffy.
Yeah, he understands taffy.
Like I said, I'll eat it.
Eat fucking taffy for fucking all damn day.
I'm saying, I think for...
I'm gaining a shit ton of fucking weight on
Yeah, like I think it was Christmas or your birthday or something like that, and I think I ordered you this big bag. It might have been more than 10 pounds now that I'm thinking about it.
I felt fat as fuck after eating that.
Yeah,
I think it might have taken 2 days to eat.
I think 2 days.
Yeah.
Because I thought, oh, well, this will last a while. Little did I know. And then, like, he said, then, like, the day after, he's sitting around going, I think I'm pregnant.
Yeah. See, what I'll do is I'll take that big old bag of taffy and I'll pour it out on the bed.
Yeah.
And I'll start sorting them.
Yeah.
By flavor.
And he's just, like, watching something on TV and he's just, like, eating
fucking... sorting that shit for flavor. I don't leave that shit up to chance. I do not leave that shit up to chance, bro.
I mean, I get that. That's why I don't really like having, like, a big, huge bag of candy. Because I'll absolutely sit there and eat the whole thing, too. Like, especially if I'm just watching a movie or something. So it's better to have... I mean, I've eaten a whole, like, fucking can of Pringles in one sitting.
Yeah.
Like, while I was watching something, or, like, a whole bag of chips or something. So it's like... So I try not to do that. You know, I like to have a smaller portion of something so I'm not tempted to, like, just keep eating it. Because I will. So I get it. But... You know. Yeah, Oracle said fruit candy doesn't have enough chocolate in it for me. Yeah, same thing. Like I said, I tend to like chocolate candy or white chocolate or stuff with nuts in it. I like stuff with like crunch. You know what I mean? Flavors like that. Like I said, when we were talking about ice cream, how you're super into like fruity ice cream, like sherbet and stuff like that. And I'm not really a fan.
They say it has something... And this is... I'm not bullshitting you people.
I'm not really...
I'm not going to bullshit. They say there's something about dudes, men, like fruity flavors. Women seem to like chocolatey caramel type stuff. And then they say, well, men like fruity flavors because of testosterone. There's something about testosterone drives...
I'm going to have to look that up.
Yeah, it drives men to fucking like fruit flavors. And then there's something about women and like probably progesterones and shit that like chocolate. And the creamy, chocolatey, and caramelly type flavors that really sets off their endorphins. It's like comfort and pleasure.
Well, and especially if it's got crunch in it. Like I said, if it's got peanuts in it or something crunchy.
I like it too, but I don't prefer it over fruit flavor.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just I like fruit candy too, but it's just not my preference.
Right.
Like if you gave me like a whole bunch of different candy to pick from, that's never the first thing I would pick.
Nah, fruit. And it's my understanding that men tend towards that. And
now I'm kind of interested to see like what how the gender breakdown
from what I remembered, it had something to do with
candy
testosterone
flavors
levels.
and
had to do with testosterone levels. That it tastes better for us than it does.
Maybe it does.
Yeah.
It doesn't taste bad. It's just kind of
Hand me that camera.
It's not that exciting.
I'm gonna show Oracle.
Okay.
All right, Oracle.
Phantom's asking if we would do a show about the Seattle Demon House. You know, the Keith Linder case. Because I did write a book about that with Steve Mara. Although I thought we had done a show about that. Like, probably back when the book came out. But I'd have to go back and check.
Yeah, that's her. That's Ariel.
Yeah.
Ariel, the Little Mermaid. We just got her gothed out a little bit. Her little...
with the shoes, yeah.
Little goth stripper shoes.
Phantom says, no, not a show. I mean, talk about it now. I mean, I guess we could. I don't remember all the details because it's been a while. Ooh. Well, we just got demonetized.
Nah.
It's not a real tit.
It's not a real tit.
It's not a real tit. It's not a real tit. It's just a fake tit. I don't know if YouTube will care. Although the thing about it, YouTube has been better lately. Yeah. Like I said, it used to be as soon as you did a show about a serial killer, demonetized.
Yeah.
But honestly, we did the show about McCamey Manor, and we were talking. And I said, "Oh, this is probably definitely going to get demonetized, like all the shit we were talking about," but it didn't.
Yes, that's one of Jenny's wigs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been putting different wigs on her.
Yeah, I've had a bunch of wigs on her.
I mean, Tom got a couple of ones specifically for her. She came with two. But...
Yeah, she came with a light green one and a brown one. Mm. And then I bought a long white one that would look good on her or Jen. Everything I buy could look either way.
I'm going to try that white one tomorrow and see how that looks.
Another one that I got is a Wednesday Addams wig.
Oh, yeah.
That's coming. We're going to see how that looks on her.
Xana said Tom complains about the YouTube algorithm and then shows tits on the stream. Yeah,
it's not a tit, bro.
I know.
It just looked like it.
Yeah,
just looked like it.
I mean, it's the same thing.
That's not a human.
Oscar said, "What's the last movie you two saw in theaters?" Probably Late Night with the Devil. I think that was the last one we saw in theaters. And then we're gonna go see Furiosa tomorrow. So we'll probably talk about that on Monday. I'm very excited about seeing Furiosa. I didn't even realize it had started already, but Tom messaged me from the bar.
Yeah.
And he's like, Furiosa starts tomorrow. Get tickets.
No, it was at Starbucks.
Oh, he must have been from Starbucks.
I was jamming out the fucking death metal. And I said, I wonder when... Yeah, I was listening to... Actually, I was listening to fucking Merciful Fate. And I was listening to the Melissa album. And I was going, I wonder when that fucking movie's coming out. And I went and opened up another window, checked, and that shit was on. It was on today.
See, I thought it wasn't starting until midsummer.
Yeah, no.
Because remember, we saw the trailer, and I don't even think it had a date on it. So I was like, oh, that's going to be a while. And I just found out the only other movie I'm excited about is the Nosferatu.
We're going to see that bitch tomorrow.
In Dolby, yeah. I already got tickets and everything.
And some of these channels I listen to, like Nerderotic, I listen to them, Midnight's Edge. All the dudes from Midnight's Edge saw it, and they liked it. But the guys from Nerderotic were like, what good is a fucking Mad Max movie without Mad Max in it? And I was just like, no.
I'm not worried about it.
No. When I saw... Jen can back me up on this. When we saw Fury Road, a couple hours after I first watched it, I was like, I wouldn't mind seeing a movie with just her. Remember
that?
We
both said that.
Yeah, I was like, I wouldn't mind seeing a movie just with her.
I was like, we need a whole movie about that, like a spinoff.
Because she was actually a good character.
Yeah.
She was kind of the wasteland version of fucking Ellen Ripley from Alien. She was a strong character, so and real interesting. I was like, well, what was her backstory? So that's what they gave us.
Yeah.
And they're opening up the universe, world building, and more about Immortan Joe. There's more characters in there. How all that shit started. See, everybody was talking shit about the villain, more Immortan Joe, but I analyzed the shit. He was the villain, but he wasn't a bad guy. He was he thought he was doing the right thing. I understand what he was doing, So I want to know more about his backstory. He was trying to have viable offspring to where he could have descendants, to run the Citadel. He was, all these people were mutants. He didn't want to have mutant children. He was trying to get mankind to rebuild itself with pure bloods, is what they called them. And then when they pure bloods are full lives. That's what they were. People that weren't mutants and they weren't riddled up with cancer. They all had leukemia and shit.
Yeah.
And I said, he told him, he's right in the beginning of the movie. In the beginning of the movie, he's like, fucking, you're going to rise by my hand. So he had, great vision. I was down with that. He was also kind of a false god, though. But, he had some showmanship, Now, they entered the female factor into that, like, oh, he's abusing them women. That's not what the prequel or the comic book said. They had all volunteered out of the wasteland to go into basically a breeding program. And Immortan Joe wasn't having sex with him. He couldn't have sex. He didn't have a dick. Cancer had eaten all that off. He was falling apart. It was artificial insemination. That was the deal. So people were reading into it that it was some kind of sexual thing. It wasn't. He just wanted children. And he kept fucking his boy. You remember he was talking about his war boys is what he was into. You know, they were kind of, it's implied in the comic books that he was gay. Because during the insemination process, he'd have those girls, he'd have them dressed up like war boys when they had it done. It was just, you know, he was just kind of a weird, strange dude. But that's just evident. That's just what was in the comic book. I want to see how it's shown in this movie. Because Immortan Joe's young in this one. Younger. So I want to see what it was like.
Oscar said, is excited to see in a violent nature. Yeah, I want to see that too. Oh, and Maxine. That's right. I forgot about that. And I saw the trailer for that when we went to see Late Night with the Devil, and I'm super jazzed about that too. Terrifier 3. Yeah, that should be good. And Nosferatu. Nosferatu I think doesn't come out until Christmas. But I'm not sure when Maxine comes out, but that's another one that we have to. Although, if you go with me to see that, you probably have to see X and Pearl before that one.
Okay.
Just so you kind of know the whole story. Because I don't know, it didn't seem like you needed to have seen the other two. Like, just the gist I got from the trailer, but it would probably be better. Let me see. Leslie says Jeffrey Dahmer started with a mannequin. I mean, we didn't get her to, like, abuse her. We just got her to make videos with.
Yeah.
That's all.
She's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she's, like, not a person.
Yeah. That's a toy.
Yeah, that's all.
What was I going to say? They're talking about that Mel Gibson was going to do was going to have a cameo in...
Actually,
he was going to have a cameo in Fury Road. We'll see if he's in this one. I haven't heard if he's in it or not. Probably isn't.
He's gotta be old as fuck by now.
Well, yeah, he's old. They're all old, though. The thing is about... He got bad. You know how Mel Gibson, how he does. He got fucking blackballed. You can't get any Hollywood fucking finance and support or anything if Mel Gibson's involved. He'll only give you... It's going to be a fucking... an underground movie. Or not underground, but an indie flick. Even though fucking... Look, Mel Gibson's movies are fucking great, man. Apocalypto is a fucking masterpiece. All of his movies were good. He was kind of better without Hollywood. But, yeah. Yeah, he was fucking... He got into a war with the Jews. So you know, they're going to come down on him, man. They don't appreciate that. Whatever. Mel Gibson's Christian. I guess. I don't know. Who knows? He claims to be. I had never seen Passion of the Christ. Maybe I should see it. It made a shit ton of money. I remember seeing I've seen bits of it. Where Jesus makes a chair. Did he make a rocking chair? I don't remember what it was. He made a chair or a table or something. And then next thing you know, they crucify him. And this shit goes on forever. It's almost kind of like torture porn from what I remember. I don't think I saw the whole thing, though. It's just... it's hard to do Christian movies, man. It's so much easier to do Old Testament stories because they're just fucking wild. Like Darren Aronofsky's fucking Noah. That was fucking really good. But there's just not enough subject matter in the New Testament that's interesting, if you ask me. I saw Last Temptation of Christ. I thought it was pretty interesting. When it came out, I saw it in the movie theater. I was in high school. David Bowie was in that one. Played Pilate. He was pretty good. I remembered it as being a pretty good movie, but not real memorable. And then I was telling Jen, if you're going to make a Christian movie, you got CG now. What you do is you got to make a movie about fucking Revelations.
See, I'd watch that.
Yeah, and that shit would be a trip. And I would have it exactly as it's coming out of the Book of Revelation.
Yeah, make it fucking crazy.
Exactly. The whole fucking Whore of Babylon, the beast that comes out of the fucking sea, the angels opening up seals, little candles with faces. There's all kinds of shit in that. And then fucking wormwood falling into the ocean and destroying a certain amount of the fish and a certain amount of the fucking ocean-going vessels. Yeah.
Like I said, I would totally watch that.
Yeah.
I think the best Christian movies are the Christian movies made by non-Christians.
Yeah, because they're not trying to prove a point. They're
right, because, they don't have an agenda. They're just going with a story. Like I said, like the Darren Aronofsky Noah movie.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, which was badass.
Well, the reason why it was badass is because it was the story of Noah as it was actually kind of written out of Jubilees. You know, there's a bunch of I think it was Jubilees. Yeah, the Jubilees. It was coming out of the Apocrypha, the hidden books of the Old Testament.
The ones they don't tell you about.
Yeah, they were priest only could read those, and it was an amalgamation of all the Noah stories, which is kind of the story of Gilgamesh too. Epic of Gilgamesh.
Well, that's
kind of
where they got it from.
But that's what they're talking about. They're talking about heavenly beings from the fucking sky, becoming one with the earth, and waters of the sky, of the nighttime sky, and waters of the sky falling onto the earth, and the waters of the earth opening up. They show that the fucking earth opens up, water comes out of it. That's what's written. Waters of the earth.
Yeah,
because it's a different cosmological vision of how the world works. So they just told you how it worked in the Bible. Now the only thing that they seem to kind of pull out of their ass was the technology that Noah used to make the animals small. Remember that?
Yeah.
Animals would go in there and they'd breathe some smoke and they'd get smaller, if I remember, and fall asleep. So you could put them up on a shelf and store more of them in there.
Super convenient.
That was fucking cool, yeah.
Got a shrink ray.
Yeah. But hey, why not?
Gonna make them all like this big.
Maybe that's implied in some.
That's pretty creative to come up with like all those years ago.
And I never read the story in the Apocrypha that it had tubal cain in it. So I don't know how the handling of the tubal cain. I don't know how they handled tubal cain.
Like how accurate it is to the story in the movie.
I know there's a tubal cain.
There is, yeah.
But I don't know if he was as pictured.
Right.
If not, that's the way he should have been.
Yeah. I really like that movie.
Yeah.
You would... I don't know... Darren Aronofsky made a movie called Mother. And I saw it and reviewed it. And it's kind of also a biblical metaphor. Kind of like Adam and Eve, Cain and Abel. But like I said, it's very metaphorical. And I loved it, but a lot of people really did not like it. But I don't know. Maybe you'd like it. Oh, because I think most of the people that didn't like it didn't clock on immediately that what they were talking about. Like didn't clock on that it was, God and his consort, and this was Cain and Abel, and this was because they don't like make it super clear unless you already know that that's what the framework is.
They're in there talking about Oracle's talking about the Christian movie industry. What she thinks the problem is. Xanada's saying that he likes Mel Gibson does great movies. Apocalypto, I think, is being up there with one.
I love Apocalypto. That's a great fucking movie.
Masterpieces. He's good.
I never saw The Patriot, though, I don't think.
Patriot's good. Real good.
I liked Braveheart, though.
If you like American revolutionary stories, it's a good story. Pretty accurate. Although the British did some dastardly shit, but we've been fucking with them. They were hanging some of their prisoners, so we started hanging prisoners too. But Cornwallis and the British actually were trying to be as patient as they could. It's just that we were going to leave, man. We didn't care. It gets to a certain point to where you can't force people to be in the government with you. Not for long. We just wore them out, they can try for a certain amount of time, and then it's not worth the money and the effort.
We were like recalcitrant teenagers, and they just kicked us out the house. All right, fine, go.
Yeah.
Make your own way.
They weren't going to make money off of it. They were trying to make money off the colonies.
Kind of rats.
They had invested in them, and their empire wanted to make money back. And they were
that was the whole reason they came over here.
And they were spending money to defend them, defend them at sea. They were using but they really were probably losing money out of it. By some estimates that I've read, that the British lost money on America.
That's always what I heard.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Before the first Europeans came to the quote-unquote New World, did they expect that there were entire civilizations already here? Or did they think there was going to be nobody here?
No, they didn't think... if you're talking about the Native Americans, they didn't consider them civilizations at all.
Well, I know that. But I'm just saying, before they came here, did they think that was a possibility?
No.
Is probably... That's kind of what I'm thinking.
They were looking for a passage to China and India. They didn't know there was a continent here. Then they found islands and continents, but they're probably talking about Puerto Rico or Cuba or something, This is back in the 1500s, maybe something off the coast of Florida. And there were nothing but basically natives, Native American Indians, and who were tripping over these ships.
Like, what the fuck is this all about?
So, the Portuguese and the Spanish and the British said, well, it's just tribal people over there. Well, that's all it was. They were right. Now, they didn't know it, but the Spanish fucking around in Mexico, they had brought up European diseases, and it went through Mexico up into North America and just wiped out the North American Indian.
Germs, man.
So by the time the first North American colony showed up, the North American Indians had already been wiped out pretty much.
From diseases.
There was a huge pandemic.
Yep.
Squanto was talking to Smith, who was, what was his name?
John Smith?
John Smith, yeah. Who had basically overthrown the colonial leadership because he was a fucking just a douchebag. He was put in charge because of his religion, not really because of his skills. The first leader, Smith was from the ghetto, man. He would come out and hang out with the Indians and try to fucking bro out with them and try to fucking throw spears and learn about Indians. And he ended up becoming the leader of the colony, which was real small at that time. And I forgot where I was going with this. What was the question you asked me? Alcohol's kicking in. He was...
No, all I asked a few minutes ago was that when the Europeans first started coming over here, did they foresee that they were going to be...
So while Smith was hanging out with the Indians, another Indian showed up named Squanto, who fucking spoke English. He would just come back from England. He was like, what the fuck?
He's like, hey, what's up?
Yeah, like, you were in England? He was like, yeah, I was in England.
Yeah.
I got captured by a boat. They took me there and I met the Queen and fucking was partied over. He was over there for years. He went to the fucking... hung out with the fucking Queen of England and shit. And
Small world.
He was drinking. And he says, I saw it all. Fucking. And I said, fuck it. Got sick of the shit. They let him go. He went there kind of as a captive. But then they liked him. They let him go. And he hung out there in England for years and came back. And he came back in a little boat that he had fucking commissioned. And it was somebody who was coming here. He made his way back home and he said, all my people are dead. They all died in a fucking big disease. Yeah. Because I'm the last one. And he goes, I'm hanging out with this other tribe. And he goes, man, they're all decimated. And he didn't know why.
Right.
But it was because of pandemic.
Because of the Europeans and their cooties.
Yeah. Well, the Indians didn't go through all that plague stuff. I know. So they just didn't have any immunity.
Yeah, because why would they?
Yeah. And Squanto was happy. He was lucky enough to go to the fucking honky motherland where all the diseases were, and he survived it.
Yeah.
You know? Weird.
It is pretty weird.
Well, maybe he got a little taste of it and it gave him some immunity, limited exposure.
Well, that's how that shit works. I mean,
but if you
a little bit of
it at a time
keeps you from getting it worse later on.
Yeah, so
because your body recognizes it,
right?
And it's like, oh, I've seen this shit before.
Yeah, but if you were an Indian, you'd never seen a white man, you could just get wiped out because it would just
You didn't.
Because somebody who talked to a white man could show up into your tribe and just spread it. And you had no defenses.
Yeah, because you wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know.
Back then they wouldn't know.
Right.
Even now you wouldn't know. It's not like you can see the shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're more careful about it nowadays, but back then it wouldn't even occur to them.
Yeah. So Squanto, I remember reading this is years back, man, early 2000s. According to Smith, Squanto had told all the other Native Americans, because he wasn't with his own tribe anymore, they were dead. He was with a new tribe. And he told them all about Europe, and they didn't believe him. They're like, you gotta be
You
funny.
made that up.
Yeah. Yeah. We told them that they had buildings made out of stone. You know, and they had huge cities.
Right.
And they couldn't imagine it. They were like, oh, you're full of shit. He said they had no so Squanto...
You're high.
Squanto said they had no concept of it.
Well, like I said, why would they?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny because we were watching Shogun on Hulu, the new series.
Yeah, we finished the first season.
Yeah, we finished the first season. Obviously, there's going to be a second one because they it wasn't a cliffhanger, but they left a lot of stuff unresolved. So I guess they're going to do another season. I hope so. I think I read the book when I was a teenager. I want to say you said you read it, right? Because we were trying. I forgot everything.
I read
about
that
it.
shit when I was in middle school. I was in military school.
I think I was like a kid, like a teenager when I read it. But so I didn't remember hardly anything about it. But they did kind of leave it hanging a little bit. So I think they're gonna have another one. But yeah, that's what they were saying was like the main guy, who's from England, but he's supposed to be speaking Portuguese in the show, but he's actually speaking English. But they keep saying it's Portuguese, which is a little confusing. But
because all the Japanese speak Portuguese, so
right? Because
he speaks to them in Portuguese.
Because of the Catholic influence there, there's like all these European Catholics
merchants,
like Portuguese merchants and stuff that were there, and so that was the whole thing. And I think it was set in 1500, 1600.
Late 15, early 1600s.
Yeah, something like that. I can't remember what year exactly it was. Yeah. But so when the guy comes there, John Blackthorne, and the guy, like the main guy, asks him to draw him a map of the world that he knows of, because the implication is, I mean, they know where Portugal is, obviously, because they have Portuguese people there, but it's like they didn't really know the extent of how Europe was. They didn't know where England was. They didn't know anything like that. So he's drawing him this map, and he's basically like, oh, well, I hate to tell you guys this, but the Europeans have basically taken over your whole shit and you don't even know about it. Yeah, and they're like, wait, what?
The Portuguese believe that they own you. That's what he said.
They're like, we got whole ass cities and a whole country and a whole civilization here, and we didn't even know anything about this. It's a good show. Yeah. I remember seeing remember they made the miniseries a long time ago. Yeah. And I remember good, though. It was pretty good. I remember it being pretty good. I saw it when I was a kid. Everybody watched it. But
made for TV?
Yeah, it was made for TV. Yeah. This was obviously much, much better. Yeah. It's 10 episodes and they're each an hour long.
Yeah, the Japanese like it.
Yeah, that's what Tom was reading. He said, yeah, they're super into it. They're like, why can't we make this stuff over here about our own history? And
yeah, they said that their shit, when they make it, it's boring. It's boring and dry. But
this is not boring at all.
They're using a real good formula, something how to use out of Daredevil or something, kind of like the old Daredevil formula. But they didn't know this story, but they liked it, and it's. Most of it is in Japanese.
Yeah, 90% of it is in Japanese.
So, and it's got real high end Japanese actors in it, and the Japanese were commenting how accurate all the sets were and where everything, you know what I mean, the locations.
Yeah, they spent some fucking money on
and everything that they were doing. Yeah.
Yeah, they're mostly like I said, the main guy, the main character, John Blackthorne, he's English. So he speaks English, even though technically in the universe of the show he's speaking Portuguese, but he's not really.
Yeah, and he's not
English.
on an English ship though either. He was on a Dutch ship.
Yeah,
he was an English guy. He was an English pilot or a navigator.
Yeah,
on a Dutch ship.
Engine, they called him.
Yeah, but he speaks English, Dutch, and Portuguese. When he's speaking to the Japanese, he's speaking to them in Portuguese. They don't know any English.
Even though on the show it's English,
it's in English,
but it's supposed to be Portuguese. Right. But yeah, so it would have been cool if they'd have done Japanese and Portuguese. If the whole thing was in Japanese and Portuguese.
Yeah.
But I guess nobody would have watched it. Maybe.
No, they would have watched it, the subtitles and everything.
You know what's something
Wouldn't
that
have made a big difference.
You know what's something that I've noticed recently, and I know this isn't a big thing, but I'm on a lot of like horror groups, like on Facebook and Instagram and stuff, and people are always asking for recommendations, like, hey, what's some good shit on Shudder? What's some good shit on Hulu? Whatever. And probably about 25% of those posts, no subtitles, they will say.
They don't want any subtitles.
I'm like, bitch, you are missing out on a lot of good shit because you won't watch foreign horror movies. I don't understand that whatsoever. Yeah, actually, a lot of the best horror movies in the last 10, 20 years have been foreign horror movies.
Yeah.
And if you won't read subtitles, I don't know what to tell you. Like I said, I put subtitles on everything because I'm deaf as shit. So even if it's in English, I have subtitles on. You know? So I'm always reading my movies. I don't understand, like, why... I get that some people are like, well, I can't really pay attention to what's going on while I'm trying to read the subtitles. Okay, I get that. But really, do you read that slow that you can't just... I don't know. So I'm like, so you're not going to watch, like, When Evil Lurks? You're not going to watch Train to Busan?
Yeah.
You're not, because it's not in English?
Yeah.
Fuck that. You're not going to watch Terrified? That Argentinian movie?
Yeah. Train to Busan,
ridiculous.
You don't even really have to read the subtitles. You can tell what's going on. Because, you know what I mean? Shit. It's just a zombie movie.
Like, what? There's just so many. There's so many movies that you're going to miss out on if you're not. I don't understand. Oracle said, Jenny, have you seen Fright Crew on Hulu? I have not, but I will look that up for sure. The Phantom says Disco Path is in English and French and very good for a 2013 slasher flick. I actually reviewed that a little. I don't remember if it was you, but somebody recommended it to me because I'd never heard of it before. And yeah, it's like French Canadian or something. And then like the first half of it is in English and then the second half is in French. Somebody recommended it to me because they said, well, it's kind of like a Giallo movie. And I think I did it because remember when I was doing Giallo July and I would do Giallo movies like all month long. And it's not really a Giallo movie. Like, it has some kind of Argento-esque touches to it. It's more a slasher, but it's pretty low budget, but I kind of dug it. I mean, I love the concept. What a great fucking concept it was. And I love the poster, too. I love the poster, also. Oh, they're asking about, Lost Boys versus Near Dark. Ooh. That's a hard question. You know what? This is a lame answer, but they're completely different movies. Lost Boys is a lot more crowd-pleasing, for sure. I love Lost Boys. I've seen it like a million times. Near Dark is kind of like... I don't know. It's kind of like the Lost Boys is like cooler older brother. You know? Near Dark is a lot cooler than Lost Boys. But Lost Boys is a great movie. They're both great movies. Yeah, Carla said, I don't understand that either. Same with people who won't watch movies from before a certain year. You're missing out. Yeah, it's just like there's so much. Shit, man, like a few months ago, me and Tom got onto this weird... I don't even remember how we got onto this. But we got into this weird kind of tear where we were watching... what was his name? Harold Lloyd? The comedian like from the silent era?
Yeah.
They had a bunch of his movies on HBO Max or... Prime or something like that, and we got super into like watching all of them, and some of them are like really fucking funny, and they came out of like the 20s.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is still funny. Some of it's not, like, but
there's a lot of undertones.
That kind of like that, a lot of that physical humor and shit like that was like
sexual undertones and
stuff. That too, and it was like, and a lot of that was still really, really funny.
Yeah. You could tell what they were thinking.
Yeah. And I'm a big fan of I love silent era horror. I love 30s horror. I will watch anything from any era. I don't give a shit what year it came from. If it's good, I'll watch it. You know, I don't care. And I don't really understand, like, limiting yourself. I mean, you know, people can do what they want, but it's like, oh, I don't want to watch anything before. Oh, and that's another thing, too. Like, sometimes people come on the horror being, well, nothing before 2000, and I'm like,
what?
Jesus Christ. It's like, I know I'm old and everything, but geez, it's like you're missing out on so much stuff. You're missing out on so much stuff.
Carla's back. What's up, Carla?
Yeah, that's whose question I was answering. That just makes me sad.
Oh.
I mean, like I said, I can't make you. And I know that it's not like a world. But here's the thing. Like I said, I will watch silent era horror movies. I was not alive in the 1920s. You know, I don't have that cultural context from that, but I can still, like, enjoy it. You know, I like a lot of movies from before I was born. I never had a problem with it. The Phantom says, Life Force is better than Near Dark. Those are two completely different movies, though. They're both vampire movies, technically. But Life Force is more like vampire sci-fi, whereas Near Dark is more vampire western. Like I said, so two completely different genres. Life Force is fucking awesome, though, and more people should see it. If you haven't seen it, Tobe Hooper directed it. Same guy that did Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And it doesn't really get enough love, in my opinion. And if you're a dude, it has, like, a hot chick walking around naked pretty much the whole entire thing.
Yeah.
So.
She's a little skinny, but she's hot. Like some shape.
Well, she was a dancer. I think she was a dancer.
Too skinny, man.
She's not that skinny.
Okay. Too flat. She
wasn't that flat.
Just kind of.
Man, Tom, you're so
boobs,
so
man.
picky. He's so picky.
Yeah.
I know you like the big boobs.
I like big boobs, yeah. If you're gonna have it naked, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, I guess it's to taste, you know what I mean? But if you're gonna show her off, man.
To me, she looked very well proportioned.
Okay.
He's like, you're wrong, but all right.
No, whatever.
I'm a girl. I have a different perspective on it. Jeffy Art says, Lost Boys for the homoerotic subtext. Was it even subtext? I kind of feel like it was overt. It's pretty overt. A lot of 80s movies, I kind of feel like, because we grew up in
dudes in one area.
We grew up in the 80s. So I will note that a lot of people didn't realize how gay the shit was in the 80s until later.
Yeah,
like when you watched it in the 80s, you're like, yeah, I suppose so. But then like when you watched it 10, 20 years later, you're like, holy fucking shit.
Yeah.
So, and I will say, like, a lot of people were not aware. Like, a lot of people watched, for example, Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
Yeah.
And didn't really think anything. I think people said about it at the time, it's like, you know what I mean? But it's like, now you watch it, that is super gay.
Terminator 2, gay as fuck.
Yeah, but I kind of feel like, which is weird. Like, now it's like super obvious, but back then everyone was like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I would never have a big old fucking leather daddy on a fucking Harley with a little boy on the back. All right, that's the fucking. And doesn't he move him to the front in a couple scenes when they're doing the chases and shit?
I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen it.
Yeah. No, sorry. I don't give a shit. That shit was gay.
There were a lot of very
gay. There was some gay underage action.
And and the thing about Lost Boys is that Corey Haim's character is clearly gay coded, but you couldn't really come out and say it when that came out. That was 87.
Yeah.
Like, they had gay characters, but I kind of feel like, particularly in the 70s and even into the 80s, if there were gay characters in a movie, it would always be like the comic relief.
Carla laughing.
You know?
I don't know what you're laughing at, Carla. It must just be everything in general.
So, yeah.
Either that or she saw Terminator 2. Why the fuck would you put a big-ass fucking leather daddy on a fucking motorcycle like that and put a little boy on the back riding bitch?
Yeah, I mean, now it seems a little problematic. Nobody said anything about it at the time. I mean, maybe they did, but I didn't see
No,
anybody.
I
didn't see anybody talking about it.
I thought it was sus at the time. I'm like,
but see, okay.
Tacky. Then they tried to play it off, well, he's just a father figure. He didn't have a father. Like, that's what they all say.
That's right.
That's what they all say.
Okay, like, see, look at something like Top Gun.
Yeah.
Top Gun, I would argue,
gay.
is one of the gayest movies ever made.
It's awesome
And-
gay movie, man.
No, it's a good movie.
It's
I don't
a
love Tom
bromance
Cruise.
movie.
Yeah. But the fact that they released it as like super macho and everything like that, and then like people watch it like, yeah, super macho, and then like you watch it now and you're just like,
Well, it's the volleyball scene.
I think that's kind
The
of
volleyball scene. The director's telling you his opinion of this fucking situation right there, man. Shirtless dudes playing volleyball, fucking with this music in the back. Was that Kenny Loggins? Who made that? Kenny Loggins? Yeah.
He did a Danger Zone. That
Danger
was him.
Zone. We did in the Danger Zone. Yeah, this shit's dangerous, man. When you start doing that shit, you're in that danger zone, bro.
The Danger Zone. It's
Too
right
many
around. It's right
dudes
around
too
your
close
booty
together,
hole.
flying through the air without the shirts on and shit. You in the danger zone.
Do you want to hear something funny?
It could happen at any moment.
Speaking of Danger Zone,
Yeah.
we went to Barbarella last Saturday. Danced our asses off to like 80s music, whatever. We stayed till close. We had pretty much sobered up by the time we left because we were there for so long. So we stopped at Circle K on the way home to get some sandwiches and some chips and everything. And Danger Zone was on in Circle K. And so like as soon as we walked in, I was like, look out, Tom, we're in the Danger Zone. And like the fucking dude behind the counter who's like young enough to be our kid, like we've seen him before. He knows, he knows we live around here. And he just like laughed his ass off. And we were just like bantering back and forth about the fucking song so much, he gave us 2 free donuts.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. For Circle K.
We bought like 6 donuts, but he's like, I'm just going to charge you for 4.
Well, I was singing it too. Take a ride into the danger zone.
Because we were like looking for sandwiches and stuff, and I'm like, it's the Danger Zone, Tom.
Yeah,
and just, like, you know, because we were kind of
a whole live performance.
It was very funny. We were the only ones in there.
We going, isn't that so epic? I said, that's just epic as fuck. Anything 80s was over the top epic shit. Xanada's going to this shit's in my mind. There was no gay action in fucking Terminator 2. I'm just telling you what I saw.
Oscar said, "Don't you slander Terminator 2?"
Yeah,
I don't. I will tell you,
I'm not.
I like back in the day.
She saw me say that. I was when we were watching that movie again. I said, "This shit's gay as fuck." I'm not a fan of Terminator 2.
I liked it at the time.
Yeah, I watch it now.
But I don't. Yeah. Now that I'm older and it's like later, and I have like more objective.
Yeah.
I don't like it as much as I used to.
No, it's not that good.
The first movie is like far superior.
Some people say that it's the ultimate action movie. It has a lot of good scenes.
It's good. But I don't think it's better than the first one.
No, the first one's better.
The first one's way better.
The first one's better because it's a horror movie. It's more like Jaws.
I feel the same about Alien versus Aliens. And I'm not shitting on people that like Aliens better because I totally can see why.
I like them both.
I like them both too, but I like the first Alien all day.
Right.
Because it's more like it's a horror movie.
They just made
Aliens is a action movie with horror elements.
Xanada, they made a mistake in my opinion. Arnold did not like being a fucking villain. He had this fucking contractual thing. Once he got to a certain size, I will not play a villain. No, good guys only.
Which sucks because he's so good at it.
He's better as a villain. He knew he was better as a villain.
As a villain.
So, but he didn't want to get typecast as a villain because it fucks your career up. So they had to bring the Terminator back as a hero. So that's pretty contrived already. So they replaced it with another Terminator that was liquid. And then it had some good action sequences. It had a lot of good practical effects. The damn fucking Terminator, the Cyberdyne flying drones and shit. All that shit came true. They didn't have to look that cool. They're just a fucking plastic quadcopter.
All that shit was awesome. I liked it.
It was awesome, yeah. But in reality, they didn't even end up being. We got fucking what's the thing called? Fucking net. We got Skynet. We got Skynet. It's called the internet. And then we got those fucking Terminator drones. You know, it's called a fucking quadcopter. They're fucking up Ukrainians and Russians with them right now. And it's a fucking $170 quadcopter off of fucking Amazon, destroying fucking $1 million tanks. So all that shit kind of happened. It's just they were showing you the future in the 90s style. They didn't have time travel, though. And they haven't come up with these liquid Terminators. But what they did bring back in Terminator 2, and I'm telling you, you know, from my take on it, is they brought back mechanical leather daddies and underage boys riding on motorcycles together. I thought that was like, I saw it through the tainted eyes of Tom Ross fucking biker.
Maybe we're
I'm
kind of
going like-
perverts, though. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm going like,
Maybe
you
it's
don't,
just us. It could be.
you don't do that. Yeah.
Well,
If it's your son, maybe. Or your daughter. I know guys that rides daughter around, but really, I've never seen a guy even ride his son around.
even riding your daughter around is a little weird.
Yeah. Riding his little 14-year-old
Well, I mean,
daughter
depends on how.
around. I know a guy riding his little 14-year-old daughter around. Taking her to the
Well, like I
bike
said,
rest.
it depends on the situation. Like, in some situations, it might not be
Yeah.
weird. But I always thought, you know how sometimes they have those, like, hey, we're going to do, like, the father-daughter dances and all that? I always
Yeah.
thought that was super creepy.
You're a little weird.
That's a little weird.
But I'm just, no, I mean, I'm suspicious of the Hollywood scene, and I just saw it as... Those motherfuckers got a weird sense of humor, okay? Arnold Schwarzenegger had this, in the 90s and the 80s, he had this persona that was like hyper masculine, fucking ultimate male. And he's not even real, dude. He's a fucking male archetype of a fucking Superman, okay? It'd be real funny to kind of make him look gay in the flick. And I just thought
Without telling him.
Yeah, without telling him. It's like they're goofing on him. You know what I mean? We're going to put you and this little boy
That does sound kind of
together.
funny.
You could be in that leather outfit on that bike. We'll put that little boy in the
I mean,
back.
it's
And he's gonna
funny to
have that
pick on
floppy
clueless
haircut.
people like that.
Yeah, and this little boy, he's going to be cute as shit, too. And he's going to have a little floppy thing, and he's going to love you.
He's going to have a little floppy thing.
Yeah, a little floppy shit coming out of his fucking
Some
head.
floppy 90s bullshit.
Yeah, okay. And he's going to be as tough as a little bull dyke, a little butch bull dyke girl. It's exactly what it was.
See,
Okay. That's how I saw the shit, and I'm going like, I know how these dudes fucking think. All right, and here I'm gonna prove it to you. When they came out with what is it, Terminator 5, that last one, piece of shit. That same that same model Terminator is alive, running around talking about, yeah, he's an interior designer and he likes curtains now. They made Terminator gay. They made Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator gay. They just didn't tell you. They coded it though. Coded him gay.
what I was going to
Made
say
him an interior
is that I
designer.
think the thing that pissed me off, no, not at the time, because at the time when Terminator 2 came out, when did that come out? Not 90 something? Late 80s, early 90s, whenever it came out. When that came out, I was like, yeah, that's awesome. That's better than the first one. But when I watched it again, it suffered from the thing that a lot of 90s movies suffer from, and the reason that the 90s and the 2000s are probably my least favorite decades for movies in general, horror movies in particular, is that they tried too hard to lean into the smart-ass, edgelord kind of... So the whole character, Edward Furlong's character got on my fucking nerves. In the 90s... everything was like that, so it didn't stand out as much. But when you watch it now, or at least when I watch it now, I'm just kind of like, oh my god, that is so 90s. It just makes me want to kill myself. Seriously.
Zedda's going there trying to defend Eddie Furlong. He was 14. Wait, what was it, 7? Okay, he's 14. That might be a few months shy of being able to give consent in the state of California.
Yeah,
That's just, those motherfuckers are wicked, bro. That's just the way I picked. That was how I interpreted it.
I mean, like I said, I think I didn't have a problem because of that. I just had a problem because of Edward Furlong.
Yeah,
and Edward Furlong seems like a nice kid and everything like that. Well, he's not a kid anymore, obviously.
He's a grown man,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's just kind of like in that movie, it's the same problem that I have with a lot of 90s movies where they tried so hard to lean into this Bart Simpson kind of that kind of shit, and it's just like that aged very, very poorly.
Where's my lesbian army buddy fucking side
that
quest
aged
hero?
very poorly.
Side quest hero. All right, you asked me, was that Eddie Furlong just butch as hell? That was a lesbian character, if you ask me. That was my interpretation.
I mean, it's just like all the shit that he's trying to like tell him how to say, like all this 90s kind of bullshit. Like he's throwing his hair to the side and being like trying to teach him all this slang. And I'm sort of like, oh my God, please stop.
Yeah.
It's hurting. It hurts me. I hated the fucking 90s. I lived through the 90s. I graduated from high school in 1990.
We're gonna shatter more of your
the 90s.
dreams, and we're gonna slaughter more of your sacred cows.
I hated that.
Indiana Jones 2, fucking Temple of Doom also sucked.
Parts of it are good.
Yeah.
Parts of it are good.
1 was much better. 3 was pretty good, but 2. At the time, I liked it, but then I went back and watched it, and I was like, man, it's too much fucking screamy.
It was my favorite
bullshit.
For a long time.
Yeah, it had a couple good things about it.
Yeah.
It showed kids getting fucked up. I liked that.
Which we always.
They don't normally do that. They don't normally do that.
I don't want to see kids get fucked up in real life.
No,
I'm just saying when they have the balls to show it in the movie.
Yeah, in the movie they were showing little kids get fucked up.
I respect that. Because they don't usually show that, and it's unexpected.
Right. So I thought there was an air of legitimacy to that, and there were Kali cults in England in India. Not so much that time, I think. Well, even Indy said that the Kali cults are all wiped out now, because the British had been fighting them along with the other Indians. So there was something to that, what they're talking about. It was a pretty good story. It's just that woman ruined it. Yes.
I would submit
Yeah.
that if they had not had her in it,
Yeah.
if they had had somebody more like Marion
Yeah.
from the first, because she was badass.
Yeah. I would have had Mary in it.
Have somebody more, have her in it,
Yeah.
ideally. But if you couldn't, have somebody more like that. I don't want some damsel in distress that's screaming at everything.
Yeah.
Oh, bugs.
Yeah.
Oh, elephants. That's so tiresome.
And Short Round was a little boy. That sucked.
Well, he didn't piss me off as much as little kids
Right.
in movies usually
But
do.
really, Short Round should have been about 18. And it probably would have been a much better film. He should have been old enough to where Indy would fucking take him on an adventure. You know what I mean? And not look sus. That looks awful suspicious. Grown man, fucking Asian boy running around.
And that was, I think, the same kid that played the kid in the Goonies that had all the gizmos and stuff.
Yeah.
Which he was good in that because that was all kids. You know
that was all kids, right?
So that worked.
Yeah, Short Round should have been about 18, 19. It would have been a lot better.
You could have left Short Round in the movie, and I wouldn't have been upset. I just would. I really, really wish they had not had her in it.
What was?
And I know that was Steven Spielberg's wife at the time.
Yeah.
So I know how that went down.
Trying to give her some bones.
Yeah, I get it.
I'll help your career.
And I've seen her in other things, and she's a good actor.
Yeah.
But it's just I don't like this screamy, super femmy damsel in distress. It's so annoying. It's just I don't like that.
Most
kind
of that
character.
movie is screaming.
Yeah, it's just I don't like that character.
And I didn't remember it being that way.
I didn't either. And then we
just
rewatched it like a few years back, and I was like, holy fucking shit.
Yeah, it didn't age that well.
It really didn't. And well, that's the thing. It's just I get why they were trying to do that because they're trying to do like a contrast between Indy, he's seen it all and everything like that. And here's this, pampered woman who hasn't seen it. She's never touched a bug or dirt or anything in her life. And it's just like, oh, that's funny. But it's just, I don't know. That's just irritating.
How they showed Indian food was fucking bizarre.
Yeah, and it's like nobody eats that. Come on.
Yeah.
They don't eat that.
Shit's fucking delicious. What are you talking about?
Yeah, monkey brains. It's like, come on.
Chilled monkey brains. They don't. Nobody eats that shit.
Nobody eats that. Come on.
Yeah, and then
they just did that for them. It's a little bit racist. A little bit racist.
Yeah,
a little bit racist.
I don't know if it's racist, but it's just fucking. What do we call it?
Maybe
ethnocentric. Then they cut open the fucking boa constrictor and all the baby eels come out.
Right.
It's like, man, and I'm not. They're trying to say these are fucking foreign, delectable, exotic delights and shit, but that's not what Indians eat.
No.
They eat some good shit.
And I even think that, well, I don't know. Like back then, I don't even think that's what they would. Maybe they would like a whole goat. Maybe because I've seen them cook that.
I'm gonna come back and defend it though. Got to remember they were at the palace run by a bunch of fucking Kali worshippers.
Sure.
Maybe those were all basically Satanists. And that's why they were eating it.
And they just like, we don't really eat this usually, but it's like we're just doing this to piss you guys off.
Maybe they know. Maybe that's what they eat.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe they were just Satanists.
I mean,
they didn't expect him to be there. They could eat that nasty shit.
Yeah. See, I don't.
And they may have all been in on it. Maybe that's what it was.
Okay, well.
They might have been all Kali worshippers.
Okay. I'm willing to give it that
Maybe that's what it was.
But like I said,
that's
I liked that one the best back in the day when it came out.
Yeah.
Because, bro, it had somebody pulling somebody's heart out. I'm like, I'm going to be all about that.
Yeah, it had
that was some cool shit.
The thing is, though, is that the scope of it wasn't very big. once they were at the temple, they were in that temple. They had a couple of adventures, but then most of it was like running around on a damn train track. There should have been more stuff, but it was all right though. And then they had to escape it. It was all right. It's just the girl screamed too much. Now, I actually liked Last Crusade. I ended up liking
the one with
Last
Sean
Crusade
Connery.
better, and that had that pervy angle of fucking Indy and his dad fucking the same German chick. Remember how that angle?
That's right. I had forgotten about that because
yeah.
it's like I remember not liking The Last Crusade when I first saw it back in the old day, back in the day, and I was just kind of like, man, not really for me. I thought it was kind of boring. But then when we watched it again, I'm like, oh, I like that a lot better. But yeah, I had totally forgotten about. I'm like, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
What's that about?
I saw Crystal Skull, man, and Crystal Skull was.
It wasn't terrible, but
there were parts of Crystal Skull that I liked.
Yeah, I liked some parts of it too, but it's not great.
It didn't have the same feel as the older ones. It was almost kind of like a parody. It started to become like a parody of Indiana Jones. I haven't seen the brand new one. They say it was fucking terrible. It flopped, but I don't know. I'd watch it for free.
Yeah, if it was like on Prime or something, like something we had a subscription to, I'd watch it.
For free.
Because I like that character, but the thing about it is that they came out of the gate with the first Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah.
And that was like the perfect movie. I kind of feel like that and like Back to the Future, the first Back to the Future, are like the perfect movies. And maybe the first Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
As far as comedies go. And if you make sequels, it's like even if they're still good, they're going to pale in comparison because you shot your load.
Yeah.
I mean, you made the perfect movie.
Yeah.
So anything you make after that is just not going to be it's not going to live up to it.
I watched a reaction from these two dudes from Pakistan. One dude was an old guy in his fucking 70s. The other one was a young guy. They watched Indiana Jones. And they were fucking blown away. And they'd seen a lot of movies by this time. A lot of Western movies. When it was over, was his name Babu? Abu?
Oh, was it Babu?
Babu? Yeah, Babu. Yeah. Babu, I think it means grandpa. I think it means grandpa.
Yeah.
Babu.
He's like 100 years old.
Yeah, he's like 100 years. He goes. he said, I can't do it in fucking in his own language, but just on the subtitles, he's still like his tone was. I'm trying to come up with words to describe this movie, but I'm speechless because this is the best movie I've ever seen. This is the best movie I've ever seen. And
even people that had never seen movies before think
and then
the first Indiana Jones movie.
Even the young guy was like, yeah, this is the best movie I've ever seen. He goes like, this is the best movie I've ever seen. And they had already seen a lot of movies. And they were like, yeah, this is the best movie. And then the young guy was like, he goes everywhere. He's got... And the thing that they really liked is that they go to Egypt. And he's friends with a Palestinian guy. He had Arab friends. He's going all over the world. You know what I mean? And that they liked that. You know what I mean? Because that puts them in the story. Yeah. Like, shit, man, I could be friends with this guy. You know, he's friendly. You know?
It's an American guy, and he's friends with people that aren't like him.
And this is a long time ago. Yeah, it's a long time ago. And so they liked that movie. But they called it. They said that the old guy says, I was constantly in the movie. I never was taken out of the movie. And he said the music and he says this is the best movie I've ever seen. And then he says, when was this made? And they kept telling them the date, and they were amazed.
They were like, that long ago?
Yeah, they couldn't believe.
They couldn't believe
that movie was that old.
They couldn't believe it.
And the young
because they'd never heard of it.
Yeah,
they live in like some little village or something.
And then the young guy was like, when he was on that truck, I believed he was on that truck. He says, I believe he did go underneath that truck. Remember during that chase?
Well, his stuntman did.
Yeah, but it was a practical effect. They weren't used to that. Yeah. Iris was talking about the doll. Hand me the the thing. I'm gonna show you the doll. This is
she just arrived a day or two ago.
Yeah.
We've been trying to loosen her joints up because they're kind of tight when they...
Yeah, this is Ariel.
We'll give her a better name than that. That's just
her model name is Ariel.
That's the model name.
She's a Little Mermaid. Just a goughed out Little Mermaid.
She doesn't look like an... Well, I hesitate because we have a friend named that.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of like, I don't know. She doesn't really look like that person. We should probably like give her a name of someone we don't know.
But she's it's child size. Not really. I'm 5'6", and she's about 4'8".
And I'm only about 5'2" or so.
but she's about 70, almost 80 pounds. So she's hard.
She's heavier than she looks.
Heavier than she looks. Yeah.
I tried to pick her up, and I was
and we got friends that size that work for Disney. And,
they're in the suits and everything.
Yeah, and I got ex-girlfriends that size. So child size depends on your point of view. We're kind of short. But most guys actually like the dolls that size because when you start pushing 100 pounds, 120 pounds, it's just unreasonably heavy.
They're just harder to move around.
Move them from,
We got a smaller one for practical purposes because we wanted her for shooting videos, and we didn't want to be like lugging around this 150 pound thing all the time. And like she's 80-ish pounds, 77 pounds, something like that, which is heavy enough.
You're right.
So you don't want one any bigger than that.
I mean, I have a hard time picking her up. She's sandbagging. I mean, look, it's harder to move that 80-pound doll than it is to have sex with an 80-pound woman, because the 80-pound woman's helping you.
Right. Yeah, they're not just like laying there being like, I'm going to pretend I'm a dead person.
Right.
How does that go? Right.
Yeah, just rolling her over is rough. But it's kind of like it requires a little bit of puppeteering skills. You have to understand how to use leverage and the order in which you can move things. So, but you can get kind of good at handling them. Of course, I went through all this with another creator, a dude, French guy who uses a lot of them.
Yeah, and he was the one that
told me
he's a creator that makes a lot of videos with these, so he kind of like steered us in the right direction of what to spend the money on.
A lot of these guys that own these, they collect a bunch of them, and they do basically professional quality photography with them.
Yeah.
You know, they're just they're some of these dudes have serious doll fetish.
Yeah.
And they got girlfriends, but they kind of prefer the dolls.
Which hopefully you don't go that route, but we'll see.
No.
I'm way better. I'm way more awesome.
They're doing photography with it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like
I will submit that she does look better in pictures than I do, probably, but she doesn't have my sparkling personality.
No human looks like that. Hand me that camera. Hand me that camera again. Let me show you guys the profile on this.
Okay.
This is not within human.
I gotta pee again.
Yeah.
Gotta pee.
Humans can't have that profile.
That's surgery.
That's a profile that's just drawn. All right. But she's got eyes. That's what she looks like. All right. All right. It's almost time to get some ice. Let's see what everybody's talking about. No, this one came with 2 wigs. It came with a green wig, a greenish wig that it was pictured. And then it came with another random wig that just looked brown. I haven't opened it yet, so I don't know what it is, actually. I don't know. This one's Jen's wig on there. She's wearing Jenny's wig and one of Jenny's little head dresses. Little Chinese headdress. Yeah, I was just talking about the ending of Crystal Skull, that it was odd, you know. They somehow activated the aliens. Yeah, that was fucking dumb. Those crystal skulls are fucking, they've been studied. And there's tool marks on them, high-speed rotary tool marks on all of them. They're not ancient, they're a modern creation. I think the oldest one is from the 20s, if I remember correctly. They're not an ancient relic. And they weren't polished by hand as claimed. That ancients fucking polished those fucking things.
Oh, crystal skulls?
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah, those are bullshit.
No, you looked at them under microscopes, all the ones that they have, and there's a lot of rotary tool marks on it.
Yeah, they're not old.
No.
Somebody is saying, the Phantom says Dakota Fanning in War of the Worlds, Tom Cruise's version, was so annoying, and I wanted to see her get turned to that red goo. I love that. Yeah,
that little girl.
Yeah, that's the thing. And it's like she turned into a better actor later, but man, putting kid actors in your movies, that's a real crapshoot.
I like that movie though.
Yeah, it was okay. It was an okay movie.
Hey, I got a thing for fucking Tom Cruise, man. I'm going to
defend
Tom Cruise. Not all of his movies are good, but I liked that movie. Wasn't that Steven Spielberg? I think it was Steven Spielberg.
It might have been, yeah.
Made that movie. It has some good ideas for War of the Worlds, but it also had some really bad ones. They said that the alien machines had been buried into the earth millions of years ago.
And no one noticed all this time.
Yeah, and then the aliens came and rode lightning bolts down into the ground, and then that's how they got into them. Well, why didn't they come millions of years ago?
When no one was around.
When no one was around.
When it would have been super easy.
Yeah, it didn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
That
just
was
5 minutes of thought.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, this Steven Spielberg is supposed to be, like, I would say, a smart guy.
Well, he might not have written I'm sure he didn't write the screenplay.
Yeah, but you think he would have stopped that.
But he'd have been like, well, wait a minute.
Yeah. It's not the way aliens would work. Well, there's a lot of problems with the War of Worlds story anyway.
Just as written in the original H.G. Wells novel, sure.
The problem is that if you have an extraterrestrial civilization that has interstellar capabilities, they can fly from one place to another without any problem. Within a human lifetime, there's no reason for them to come to Earth. There's a lot of other Earths that are unpopulated. They would have no problem. They would just take another version of Earth if that's what they wanted.
Yeah, there's lots of those.
Yeah, this isn't really that. It's going to be, if you have interstellar travel, you're going to find out there's lots of these.
But sci-fi writers back then didn't know that.
Yeah, there's lots of these and they're not rare. So there's no reason to fight over any of them.
And there's no inherent drama in aliens just going to another planet where nobody lives and minding their own business.
But it made more sense in the original book. The original book, they didn't have interstellar travel. They were from Mars. That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Because they're close. They're right there.
Relatively.
And they didn't have the ability, evidently, to go interstellar. But they could hop over another planet. One planet over and go to Earth. That makes a lot more sense.
We're just going to move next door and fuck all them up over there.
So, here you are, Steven Spielberg, and you can say, well, I think it's more plausible that the alien machines were buried on Earth millions of years ago and nobody found them, versus that maybe the alien machines were buried on Mars millions of years ago and nobody found them. I think I'd go with the Mars bet.
Yeah, that second scenario sounds much more likely.
It would have made a lot more sense if they had come from Mars. One day they just open up on the news and they, just like in the original book, we're seeing fucking big plumes of green gas coming off the surface of Mars. And then they look at it with some fucking telescopes and they see shit blasting out from subterranean launch bays.
They're like, uh-oh.
They're like, what the fuck is this? And they were saying, and they would come up and say, we didn't know it, but there was life underneath the surface of Mars, and they've been planning for a long time for this thing. They're hiding underneath there.
That does make a lot more sense.
That makes a lot more sense. And then
because that's plausible that we wouldn't notice that.
Then,
like on Earth, that's a lot less plausible.
So then you could go, all this time we didn't see any activity. We don't know how long they've been down in there. They must be fully self-contained with their own power sources and their own fucking greenhouses and everything, and that's how you explain it. And now you have, just like in the book, several weeks of waiting for them things to arrive. See? And you can build up tension. Because in the book, they waited for them to arrive. They could see them coming.
Yeah.
All right?
Because it would take a while.
Yeah, because it would take a while to get here. So it was probably like months. And then they start crashing onto the Earth in different places. And the world's militaries were ready for them. They showed up. They formed cordons around the impact zones. They even watched them fucking the ends of the machines unscrewing. They watched them building machines in there. If you got too close to it, they'd hit you with a heat ray, though. So they couldn't see exactly what was happening. But they were tearing up Earth. They were tearing up the Earth and, I guess, processing the dirt into making metal. Because then they started to erect a big tripod. They built it in those craters. And when they were ready, they all came out at the same time and fucking zapped everybody. And this was happening in 1800s technology, just, you know, I think it was late 1800s, early 1900s technology. And these fucking aliens had these big walking tripods and a thing called a heat ray, which is a laser. And they were just unstoppable. Which that's what it would have been back in those days. Only thing that stopped them was bacteria. Some people would say, well, how could they not have anticipated bacteria? They would have... Maybe they didn't have bacteria, or maybe they weren't that smart, you know? Just...
I mean, the whole point of the story was that they had all of this military might. They had, and there was a religious...
There's a religious aspect.
Aspect to the book, which I kind of feel like has... Which is kind of cheesy, I mean.
Well, no, it was religious mixed with science.
Yeah.
Because it was Wells. He said that God had seen fit that because these life forms had not clawed their way up through the process of natural selection, that they had not earned the right to be here.
Right.
All right. So God made natural selection.
Yeah, it was that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So he was like a creationist, but like a...
Science, too.
But like a scientific creationist, if that's even a thing.
Yeah.
I know that is a thing, because I know some people think that evolution is real, but that God started it.
That God did it. That's his tool to make all this happen.
Not all creationists are like, the Earth is only 6,000 years old.
No.
I still want to do a show about that one of these days. Because I read a lot of books about that, and it's like, ooh, okay. There's a lot of interesting shit about that.
Wells and a lot of science guys from like my grandparents' generation up into the 50s believed in science. All right. But they were also religious. But they believed that science was explained how God made things. Yeah. It made things through natural selection, through the Big Bang. It made things that, you know, that's a lot more of a rational way of looking at it.
Yeah. It's, I mean, from my point of view, probably still not correct, but it is a lot more... I mean, it's better than saying the Earth is 6,000 years old, because that's just wrong.
Well, the issue that you're having problems with, because I know how you think, your definition of what the Judeo-Christian Islamic version of a god is basically a Middle Eastern potentate. He's a dude with sandals who walks around in the fucking heat of the day. He's got a garden. He made a gardener.
And I don't see him that way. That's how I perceive that other people see him. Yeah. Because they do seem to.
Yeah. But a lot of the people we're talking about now don't see it as that.
Right. Yeah.
Basically.
And I don't have any problem with that. Yeah.
Basically, they're seeing God as like the Force.
Sure.
Or destiny.
Which, like I said, that's totally fine.
You're right.
Totally fine. I don't, when you're seeing God as like a person.
A giant person.
Then...
His height is even given. The height of angels is given. Shit like that in the old stories.
Which is crazy. That's
now you're talking about Titans. Titans and people on Mount Olympus. It's all the same religion.
Yeah, I know.
It's all the same thing.
I know where it all
They're
came
all
from.
big.
Yeah.
They're like you, but they're bigger.
It's like, but like us, but bigger. Yeah.
They're big.
Well, like I said, they weren't super imaginative. I mean, they were imaginative. I'm not like shitting on them. I'm just saying, but they couldn't conceive of anything outside of their own experience. So it's just kind of like, well, like us, but bigger.
Yeah.
But more.
Yeah, kinda. If you look at the story of Moses going up on the mountain, he can't look at God. If he looks at it, it will kill him.
Very Lovecraftian.
Yeah, it's just too much for a fucking human to handle. You just see that shit, you just lose it, you die. All right. But what's being described is the arrival of Yahweh. It's Yahweh or El Shaddai, which is used interchangeably a lot. They're talking about a storm god. That's what he meant. That's what he meant at the top of the mountain. A storm. That's why the rainbow is shaped like a bow. A bow. All right. It's the bow of a storm god is what they're talking about. That's what all the scholars that. So, he's big, but he's also a storm god.
Which doesn't really sound all that impressive when you talk about it.
Did to them because it
did. Sure.
The storm god comes from the heavens.
Yeah.
And the different levels of heaven. And what they're talking about is that if you look at clouds, they're not all on the same plane. Some of the clouds are higher than the others, which that used to mystify them.
Right.
That there were
they didn't have
levels
meteorologists back
What's that?
They didn't have meteorologists back then?
No.
So it's like now it's just kind of like, well, and we live in Florida, so we're just like, oh, storm?
Yeah.
Must be 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
We have horrible storms all the time, especially in the summertime.
The thunder is described as his voice, and the flashes as, his arrows, shooting arrows and stuff. Lightning, shooting arrows. So, basically what you're talking about is Zeus.
Yeah.
Same thing, Zeus,
Yeah.
father of the gods.
Well, they're just personifying forces larger than themselves.
Yeah.
That's all everybody does.
Yeah.
That's all they've ever done.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's interesting how that plays out across different cultures.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that that's, you know what I mean?
That was the most they could imagine.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm probably like way behind. Oracle says Kate Capshaw, the screaming woman from the second Indiana Jones movie, was a teacher in my school district before she became an actor.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that something? Phantom also said the little kid that played the son in the 90s version of The Shining was hella annoying as fuck. I agree. And I feel kind of bad. And I wrote this big long screed about how much I hate the 1997 version of The Shining, which Stephen King, he didn't direct it. Mick Garris directed it, but he wrote the screenplay. And I really didn't like it. And I'm not shitting on any of the actors involved. Like the dude from Wings was in it. Rebecca De Mornay was in it, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. I didn't like it because it was too literal. It was too close to the book, which makes sense because Stephen King wrote the screenplay and he seemingly, I mean, maybe now, but like back then he was just kind of like, I want it to be like my book. And I'm just like, yeah, but books and movies are two different things. Like you can't really translate one to the other in the same kind of way. So I didn't like Tom likes the miniseries, the Shining miniseries from 97.
Yeah, I liked it. It's very different than the movie.
I don't like it. It's not terrible, but it's too close to the book, and I think that that's to its detriment. I wrote like a big long screed about it, like on my blog a long time ago, if you want to go read that. But I think the problem was that it was too close to the book. It was too much It was too much telling and not enough showing.
Yeah.
The reason I like Kubrick's version is because he made it from the perspective of someone who had no idea what the fuck was going on. As you would if you went to that place. And you're just like, all this shit is happening and you have no idea what the fuck is going on. In the, in the book, I didn't mind it in the book where it's like, you read about all the history, all the shit that went on in the rooms and shit like that. But that works in a book. You can't do that in a movie. You just can't. It's not as good. So I didn't like it. It was too literal, too close to the book, too much explaining. And that kid, the kid was cute, but holy shit, he was like, he seemed like his nose was stuffed up the whole entire time.
Yeah, I remember that. It's like his adenoids were bad.
And it was just very distracting. It was very distracting. Yeah. It was like super, and the kid was cute as shit. He wasn't a bad actor or anything like that, but that was very distracting the whole time. It's like, because it seemed like his mouth was hanging open and he was always like talking.
He had buck teeth and he sounded like he needed an adenoidectomy.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I was just kind of like, man, it's like, that kid's cute and everything, but it's like, damn.
I think in the book, though, they called him Doc because he looked like Bugs Bunny.
Right. Yeah. So, like I said, but again, too literal.
Yeah.
Shit that works in a book doesn't work in a movie. Those are two completely different mediums.
Yeah.
So, you try to make shit too close to the book, it doesn't work out. Ira says she loves the necklace. Thank you very much. It's H.P. Lovecraft, which I'm sure you probably know. We talked about that just now, actually. Ooh. CB said, I just realized the doll is looking at the camera.
No, she's looking over there.
Her eyes are kind of... I can't really see where her eyes are looking, actually. Yeah, it said Tom moved her.
Yeah, they got these little glass eyes.
Everybody's probably weirded out by this now. Like, we're not weirded out by it, but...
Yeah, it's just normal to us. It's a statue, basically.
Yeah. And we talked about it for a long time, because we kind of went back and forth about... Because, like I said, we just got her for making videos. Because it's going to be like a third person in the videos without the hassle of having an actual third person.
To buy one.
That you have to pay and have to, like, put them through the legal rigmarole.
And then all the STD tests.
And all of that stuff, which is just, like,
Yeah.
It's too much. So we just wanted to have that option, but without all the hassle.
Yeah.
That's all.
And they have a whole genre of doll fetish. They got dudes that just want to see fucking
And we
dolls
kind
and
of
girls.
probably should lean into that.
Yeah, just dolls and girls, yeah.
Because there's all kind of fun stuff we could do
With that.
with this.
It's just another kind of sex toy.
Sure. Well, like I said, and we thought about this, like we could do, I don't know, we could do all kind of threesome stuff. I have a strap on, we have all kind of stuff we can
Hand me that camera again. You guys don't understand fucking, you can't, it doesn't come across real well in this lighting.
Dana said it's a new member of the show.
Yeah.
The doll stays.
But this thing is so fucking cute.
Yeah.
That's like superhuman cute.
Like, I don't, like, think of her as a person or nothing.
No, it's like a little...
Well, Tom was, like, joking around because, like, last night,
She got the
like
little bitty
I
waist.
said, we had Shogun going and we were watching that and snacking or whatever, and he's kind of trying to, loosen the joints up or whatever. And he's just, like, he puts her in a position on the bed.
Yeah.
Where she's, like, with her butt up in the air and, like...
Yeah.
And then he had still had clothes on, but he's just, like, kind of pretended to, like, and I was just like,
a
oh my god.
mountain.
Yeah. And,
Just laughing.
and I was like, that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, But like I said, I mean, yeah, she was expensive, but we got her for video purposes. I don't think of her as a person.
No.
She doesn't strike me as a person.
It's just a statue.
Yeah.
We're not emotional about that. We're professional.
No. I'm more emotional about, like, fucking teddy bears I had as a kid and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Xander said, I'm a big fan of the doll. It's a new member of the show.
Yeah, Xander, you need to get one now, dude. You'd like that.
Yeah, I thought he was going to get one.
Yeah, you need to get that. Although I'd probably get the Jessica Rabbit, I think, as the first one.
Are you having buyer's remorse?
No, this is good. I'm just saying, I think as the first doll, I think Jessica Rabbit probably would have been better. It's the same doll, basically. A little bit taller, bigger.
Yeah, the Jessica Rabbit one is just a little bit taller and
Yeah.
has bigger tits, that's all.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. We went back and forth because I said, well, I don't want a small one because I don't want to look like a huge, like, hippopotamus next to it, but...
The thing is that anything approaching 100 pounds, which those are the bigger ones.
But the bigger they get, like, the more of a pain in the ass they are. Like, to move around when you're making videos and stuff. So we got, like, a smaller one... And it's still pretty heavy.
Yeah, still hard.
It's
and the thing is that a lot of this is going to be movie magic, angles, how tight the shots are. It's going to be hard for the viewer to actually get a scale of things. We can fool you on sizes.
Yeah, we're gonna like try and shoot it in a way that is, we've been watching other videos with like, dudes that have the same doll, the same model. So we're gonna try and not replicate, but getting an idea of like what the angles.
You just have
like
to shoot stuff, and you have to know the angles and how tight, how close in the shot should be. And
the Phantom said I only like the '90s version for Steven Weber. Yeah, that was his name from Wings, aka Brian Hackett on Wings. He said the kid played somebody in the Little Rascals movie. Yeah, I didn't really know. I didn't check if he'd done anything else. He was a cute kid, but like I said, that adenoid thing he had going on was so distracting. Leslie said that Shining TV version was Stephen King's Vengeance for the first version. Yeah. And here's the thing. I love Mick Garris, okay? He was the guy behind Masters of Horror. Although I will say that the 2 or 3 episodes that he directed were my least favorite of the entire series. So, But he did create it. He directed a lot of Stephen King adaptations. And most of them were not great, gotta say. Not great. And I kind of feel the same way about this one. It's not terrible. It's just... For Stephen King's shit to work, you have to change stuff from the book. You have to. It just doesn't work the same. And I've read most of Stephen King's stuff. I love Stephen King. I love his writing style. I've loved all his novels. Except for Dreamcatcher. And that was a terrible movie also. But it's just kind of like I said, it doesn't work the same. When you make a movie, don't change it a lot, but change it enough. You have to know what to change when you're adapting a Stephen King novel, you know? And it's just kind of like certain directors know what they're doing and certain directors don't. He makes some good shit, and I kind of feel like his best shit is not the supernatural stuff. Well, especially like from his later stuff. I kind of feel like his psychological horror translates better to the screen than his supernatural stuff. Other than like early era. Like Carrie was great. Christine was great. All of that, But later on, you'd see stuff like the best movies that were made of his stuff later were like psychological horror, Misery, or The Green Mile, or Shawshank Redemption, stuff that didn't have supernatural shit, or Dolores Claiborne, stuff that didn't have supernatural stuff. I kind of feel like, I don't know, earlier on, directors did his supernatural shit justice, because Christine was supernatural, Carrie was supernatural, and The Shining, obviously, but that like all worked because the directors knew what they were doing. But if you're gonna make shit later, like of his later shit, his non-supernatural shit look like Mike Flanagan did Gerald's Game, right? No supernatural shit really in that one. Great. That was a great fucking movie. From a book that a lot of people thought would probably not make a great movie because it was largely internal. It was largely one woman's experience. But it worked out really good. I don't know. You just have to get like a really good director. And like I said, I love Mick Garris, but he directed a lot. Didn't he? He directed Sleepwalkers too, didn't he?
Yeah.
Ooh. Man, we reviewed that not too long ago. That was a terrible fucking movie.
Damn, says the doll needs fishnets. We got fishnets. We got all that.
I got all kind of fishnets.
Yeah.
I got all kind of fishnets.
Yeah.
Actually, the tights I wore last Saturday were horizontal. They were fishnets, but then there were horizontal stripes on one leg and vertical stripes on the other leg.
Yeah.
And I got a whole bunch of compliments about those. They did look really cool. The Phantom says Silver Bullet is his best, in my opinion. That is a great movie. Not gonna lie. It's
a good movie. I don't say it's a great movie.
It's cheesy.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite Stephen King adaptation. Yeah. But I think it was a good adaptation of... It was actually a like an illustrated novel. Cycle of the Werewolf was the name of it. And I think they did a good job of adapting it. It's a little bit cheesier than the comic, but I think they did a good job largely capturing the tone.
The worst was that crappy fucking gunslinger movie. What was it? Dark Tower? We saw in the theater.
Like I said, it was
dumb. You cannot tell that story in one movie.
That's got to be a fucking series. I don't understand why you would even attempt.
Yeah, I don't know why they even tried it. And that thing just came and
to make it put it in movie form.
Yeah, and that thing came and went out of theaters just like quickly. Remember that? Without even saying anything, they're just like, nah. And that had fucking Idris Elba in there,
Idris Elba, and I love him.
Yeah, he's good.
He was the best part about it.
Yeah,
honestly.
He was actually good in it. That is not the way that Gunslinger was described. Nothing in the movie is the way anything happened in the book. It's just like they should have called that something else.
They just tried to mash it all together and not even.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do that, I've never been a huge fan of Stephen King's fantasy stuff. I read Eyes of the Dragon, and I read the first couple Dark Tower books and stuff like that. But I'm not a real big fantasy person.
Yeah.
So it's not my favorite shit of his. I like horror shit. You know what I mean? I don't even really like sci-fi all that much. Although though I do like some crossover.
If I remember correctly, in the Dark Tower, the gunslinger was Clint Eastwood. Basically, didn't they say he looked just? It was.
Yeah, I mean that's who. If I recall, that's who he was basing it on.
It was a parallel universe Clint Eastwood happening in another universe. which you could do that. They got some guys with prosthetics that you can make up and look like.
Well, that's what I mean. If you had the money, you could do a badass series.
Yeah.
You could do seasons and seasons of that shit.
Yeah, because there's enough material there.
And I kind of feel like there'd be look, they've done like whole seasons. Like, look at Mike Flanagan did like fucking all the Stephen King adaptations. He did a couple of movies, and then they did Castle Rock, which I think was on Hulu, and so there's an audience out there for it. Like, I don't know why they wouldn't put money into it.
They ought to do a series of The Talisman. I love fucking Talisman.
They should.
That was a good one, man. It was Peter Straub and Stephen King.
You know what?
They traded off writing.
Yeah.
Writing. They traded off.
They did a sequel to that too, called The Black House.
Yeah. What was it? It was every other chapter. They were playing off of each other.
Yeah.
And how that went. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good.
I mean, to be honest, I always wondered why they didn't adapt more Peter Straub stuff.
I read some of his stuff when I was a kid, and I remember liking it. He did Watchers too, didn't he?
No, that was what's his fucking face? That was Dean
Dean Koontz. Yeah, he only had a couple of those.
He's kind of a hack. Yeah, to be honest.
When you're a kid, though, you'd like
Peter Straub.
Yeah, Peter Straub. What else did he write?
As far as I know, what are the only movie adaptations? They did Ghost Story, which is a good movie, but it's only about 10% of the book. And I get why they did it that way, because the book is sprawling. It's a huge book, and it goes in like all these different drawers. So they had to like whittle it down. I get that. And the movie actually is pretty good. It's from the early 80s, 81, 82, somewhere around there. They made Julia, his novel, into, I think in the US it's called Haunting of Julia. In the UK it's called Full Circle for some reason. And that is an excellent movie. Mia Farrow was in it. And it's very, very close to the book. It's kind of similar story to Ghost Story. So if you like Ghost Story, but like, more cerebral, then you'd probably like that. Other than that, have they really adapted any Peter Straub? I don't know why they wouldn't. Like, one of my favorite books of his is called Coco, and I don't know, like K-O-K-O, and I don't know why they've never adapted that. I really don't know. And he's written so much good shit. I don't really know why they haven't adapted more of his stuff. But, I don't know. It's a fucking mystery. And it's not like he's not famous, because he is. And he's been around fucking forever.
Doesn't have connections.
I guess. Or maybe he's not interested.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, he's American, but he's lived in the UK for a long time. So he has a very British... His stuff is very British, even though he's... not British, he's American, but I think on my book review channel, I did a review of his novella that he wrote called Mrs. God. So if you want to go back and look at that. I liked the first 3/4 of that, but I thought it ended too abruptly. Because, the build-up to it was so fucking awesome, and then it was just and then it goes crazy, and I'm just like, oh, all right, we're doing this now. You should have... I kind of feel like he should have expanded that to a whole novel. That was the only complaint that I had about it. Let me see. Yeah, Leslie Russell said King was angry with Tobe Hooper, too, for changing the image of Kurt Barlow in Salem's Lot. Which, again... I love Stephen King. I do. But...
he doesn't know what's best in a movie.
Again, books and movies are two different things. The Salem's Lot adaptation, the Tobe Hooper one from 1979, excellent. Yeah. And honestly, I love Barlow in that. He looks great. That dude, Reggie Nalder, he was in some Night Gallery episodes. I think I brought it up earlier. He had kind of, even without all the makeup on, he had a real scarred... He had a lot of scars, on his face. So he always kind of played villains and stuff. And when they did him up for that role, man, he looked so fucking good. He was so fucking creepy in that movie. That was a great adaptation.
Yeah, it's probably best that he didn't speak.
And that's another thing, too. It's just I kind of... Because he talked in the book.
Yeah.
Which, again, it works in the book. But in the movie...
It's better to have his henchman do it.
I think your villain is better... I mean, look at the first Halloween. Michael Myers don't talk.
Yeah.
Actually, Michael Myers never talks. Michael Myers should never talk.
Yeah.
That would ruin it.
Yeah.
That would ruin it.
Barlow had that familiar, that guy, what a thrall, isn't that what you call him? He had that thrall as a mouthpiece, and that
Played
was
by
a lot
James
better.
Mason in the movie.
Yeah, he had a lot more gravitas. That actor,
so much better.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, because you had to get Barlow's words through that dude, made it seem like fucking Barlow was kind of elevated. And he was an evil-looking dude, but he wouldn't talk to you directly. He'd have somebody else talk.
That's what I mean. That, to me, that makes a villain a lot scarier.
Yeah.
If they're not just going to come and, like, say shit to your face, like, they're going to be in a back room somewhere. They're going to have other people come out and, like, talk to you on their behalf. You can't even see them.
Right. Well, in the end...
Way better.
In that last series, you could see him. Remember, the thrall was up there in front talking, making demands, remember? Barlow was behind him. You just see those eyes.
Yeah.
In the kitchen. Wasn't that how that went down? Wasn't he in there?
I think I'd have to watch it again, like I said.
I know at one point he came flying through the window. Pow!
Yeah.
And he was just a small object when he hit the floor.
That's right.
And he stood up out of full size. That was really good effect.
That was a great like introduction, because that was kind of the first time you'd seen him.
Yeah, you never seen him.
Like in the... I mean, Toby Hooper, I feel like he doesn't get brought up in the big horror directors. Well, I guess he does, because he did Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But, like, a lot of his other shit that he did that people don't talk about, like Life Force or Salem's Lot, are really, really underrated, in my opinion. I mean, he was and Funhouse. He also did Funhouse, which was also fun. So I kind of feel like he's a little bit underrated. Phantom says Needful Things was the first Stephen King book I ever read. I'm trying to think of the first one that I ever read. It was probably The Shining. It might have been Carrie, though. The first one that I remember was Pet Sematary, but I was already in high school, and I think I had read several of his books prior to that. I think Carrie was probably the first one, which was the first one that he wrote. Tammy says Dean Koontz's Odd Thomas book series are pretty good. And if you haven't seen the Odd Thomas movie with Anton Yelchin, please see it, because it's really, really good. I don't really like Dean Koontz. I've read a couple of his books, and I was just they seemed very formulaic. I don't know if the Odd Thomas ones are better. I haven't read those. Yeah. But I read some of his other ones, and I didn't love them. But the Odd Thomas movie is really good. And it kind of makes me sad. It kind of reminded me of The Frighteners a lot. And it kind of makes me sad that Anton Yelchin died in a weird fucking freaky accident kind of way. And he couldn't do more of those. Because I would have liked to see more in that series. Because I know that Dean Koontz wrote a whole series of those with that character. But the Odd Thomas movie, which is just called Odd Thomas, I can't remember what year it came out. 2013, I want to say. It was really, really good. I liked it a lot. Yeah, Leslie said Toby Hooper's Kurt Barlow is one of the best vampires ever. I agree. I mean, he's based on Nosferatu, from the 20s movie. But that's all right. That shit was scary, CB said writers can be assholes when you do a film based on their book. Honestly, I would be happy if somebody just bought the rights to one of my books and wanted to make a movie. I'm not going to complain. Oh, speaking of which, and I think somebody commented on this on one of my YouTube videos. I saw a trailer yesterday. It was like a commercial for a movie by, I guess it's M. Night Shyamalan's daughter is directing movies now. And she has directed an adaptation of a novel called The Watchers by A.M. Shine, which I reviewed probably last year, I want to say. It's a great book. And the trailer actually looked pretty cool, because I'm watching it before they showed the title and everything, and I'm just kind of man, this looks kind of familiar. What is this? And then at the end they were okay, well, it's, I love how they did it's M. Night Shyamalan. Oh, no, it's not. We're erasing M. Night Shyamalan's name and putting his daughter's name in there because she's trading on, which I don't blame her for doing that. But yeah, so she's directing a movie based on The Watchers by A.M. Shine, which is a great fucking novel if you haven't read it. I reviewed it a while back. But it's kind of about... It's about, like, this weird place in the woods where people kind of get, your car breaks down or something like that, and then they end up going in this woods, and there's this bunker, I want to say. Like, you find this bunker, and then you go in there, and, like, there's people in there being like, you need to get in here, like, right now. And then there's, like, all these creatures, like, out in the woods. That's about all I'm going to say. But like I said, I did a review of the book a while back, but they did a movie of it. I don't know when it's coming out, but I saw a commercial yesterday, or the day before. Victor says Michael Myers should do ASL.
What's that?
American Sign Language.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm more of a fan. It depends on what you're going for. If you want to actually be scary, keep your villain mysterious. You can show them, you can say stuff about them, but it's like, don't reveal everything about them, don't have them talk too much, it ruins it, I think.
Look at Darth Vader in the original the original trilogy. He doesn't have that many lines, but he's extremely compelling.
And other people like talk about them, or be afraid of them, or you know what I mean. Like I said, show how frightening they are, indirectly.
Yeah, and they never show you what he looks like till the very end.
Right,
they tease it, the back of his head.
Yeah,
just a scarred up looking.
That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it.
They never really show it.
That's the way to do it.
And
always scarier.
Yeah,
mystery is always scarier
because he had so much gravitas. And they had Prowse as the fuck. I think it's Michael Prowse. Was that
David Prowse?
David Prowse, yeah. Who was a British bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Actually, was in the costume.
He was in A Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
He played the after the woman got raped.
Yeah.
And the dude was in the wheelchair. He was the dude that carried the dude around.
Yeah, I know. Like, and James Earl Jones doing the voice, so he was a composite character, and they just had one of the best bodies and one of the best voices, just. And it gelled real well. And James Earl Jones was kind of picked at random, because in the script it was just, they said it was a dark voice. And what's his name? Lucas saw this black dude with an incredible voice. He's like, yeah, him. That guy. And it was James Earl Jones.
Yeah, that worked out really well.
Worked out good, yeah. He called it. Yeah. He'd been in some other movies, he was in fucking How I Learned to Love the Bomb, Dr. Strangelove.
Dr. Strangelove.
He was in Dr. Strangelove, yeah. He was one of the B-52 bomber crew. And what's so funny is that, you gotta... And he was an Army Ranger before he was an actor from Mississippi. It's funny, Darth Vader, the voice of Mississippi, is a half Irish, half black Army Ranger from Mississippi. It doesn't get any more badass than that. That's the voice of Darth Vader. What's up, Luke?
Oh, she's heading for the books.
Yeah.
Are you heading for the books?
Yeah.
Don't be bad.
Although I'm gonna say the fucking Tulsa Doom. I love fucking that character, man.
He turned into a snake, yo.
Yeah, Tulsa Doom.
And he had like the world's worst haircut. It looked like fucking.
It is not a bad haircut.
It looked like He-Man.
It's a wig. Yeah, it was a wig. Well, that was in style though, man. That was in the early days of heavy metal, and all the heavy metal dudes kind of had that damn Prince Valiant, fucking long hair with fucking bangs cut into it. Yeah, fucking what's his name? Fucking the dudes from all the dudes, fucking.
Oh my.
Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden had that fucking haircut.
He did.
For a while.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's
so that looked cool, man. In the day, it still looks cool. Just
Does it?
Yeah, man. This Star Wars, man. It's prehistoric Star Wars, man. Prehistoric Star Wars. They're wearing the fucking armor and shit. That armor looks really good in HD. See, I saw it twice in films, in the theater, before it ended up on VHS when I was a kid. And when I saw it on VHS, I didn't realize that definition made a difference. When you're a kid, you didn't TV, and I was like, man, this doesn't look as good as it did. I wonder why. Didn't realize it, because you see that shit in HD, it looks fucking great. I was just like, I loved fucking Flash Gordon when it came out. Early 80s, late 70s, I don't remember. I liked it better than Star Wars. I was fucking pissed that they didn't make any more of them. And I saw it in the theater fucking like 3 times in Mississippi. And I was just fucking blown away by it. I thought it looked great. And then it fucking came out on cable. I was watching it on TV and I was like, man, this is not even the same fucking movie. But then I got it on Blu-ray and watched it again and it was restored. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. You can see how good those costumes look. And how good the sets look in HD. Those are really expensive costumes.
Yeah, like, don't watch anything.
No.
I mean, this is not a problem nowadays, but seeing the shit on VHS or seeing the shit on like low quality cable TV, like back in the 80s or 90s, everything looks like ass. Everything looks like super cheap.
Yeah.
But so it's like sometimes we'll see stuff now that like I remembered looking like complete shit, like they came out in the 70s or 80s, and then we watch it now and it looks beautiful. Yeah. Because it's all been restored the way that it's supposed to look. Yeah. Like the way that it looked when it came out in theaters. Yeah. Not the way we watched it on like some shitty ass TV.
Yeah, and people today, you know, will watch Flash Gordon, especially the younger people, and they don't get it. They're fucking showing you a story from the fucking 20s and the 30s. That is exactly it is accurate to the source material.
Yeah, we got kind of into like watching the original Flash Gordon serials, like from the 20s. Accurate.
It had lots of sex and lots of drugs in the fucking source material. It's just that you don't realize it.
They were trying to get around censors at that time.
Yeah, but you know...
So there was a lot of euphemisms.
There's love potions.
Yeah.
And girls fighting over Flash. And skimpy outfits and like satanic overtones of alien gods with a bunch of arms and fucking semi-nude women dripping off of them and shit in the intro. And the Dino De Laurentiis version, they pretty much captured what it was they were trying to do in the serial, in the original. Like, was that 20s or 30s? I think it was 30s, the 1930s series, or was it even later? I thought it was 30s.
It might have been. Like, I kind of feel like it went on for a long time.
Yeah. But it was just crazy technology, crazy alien technology that didn't make any sense. There was no outer space. Everything was sky forever. You just have green sky with red clouds and pink sky. And the whole thing was an acid trip, and it was horny as fuck.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, all the girls were trying to fuck. And the dudes are trying to resist it. It's just fucking crazy, man. But that was that was the source material. And that was a sexy movie in a way. I was big into Princess Aura, you know, Ming's daughter. When I was a teenager watching that, maybe 13, 14. I was like, man, that shit's so fucking... What was that actress's name? She was a European actress.
Oh, I can't remember
that shit is so fucking sexy. And they were fucking taking power potions for sexual fucking performance. They had Viagra in the shit. They were getting high. They were having orgies. There was BDSM in it. Ming's having his own daughters tortured by the pervert.
Then he's
wanted to marry her, and his lesbian sidekick, fucking General...
They're all watching.
It was named General what was her name?
Kala.
General Kala, yeah. And,
I've been wanting to do that costume for Halloween for a long time. Yeah.
And I think they were a couple too.
Yeah, they kind of were.
I think they were kind of a couple.
Loosely.
And then they were going to try to get Ming's daughter in on a threesome.
But like I said, they were kind of just trying to show low-key like how degenerate
they were.
Sure.
And then it's implied that fucking Princess Aura and her dad Ming had a thing going on.
Yeah, that was.
She'd be like, "Oh, father," and he goes, "Oh no, your tastes are far too dangerous." Like, so he knows her tastes. You know, it's fucking funny, man.
He's like, "Well, I could hit
these motherfuckers are perverts, man."
Yeah. Well, like I said, they were trying to shit. They were degenerate.
Yeah. Well, the source material was like that. They were trying.
And in the 70s, you could get away with a lot more shit than you could get away with in the 20s or 30s. Obviously, they got away with some shit in the 20s or 30s, but they just had to kind of like step around it. So they had to like use a lot of euphemisms.
The explanation that I heard is that It was a story coming out of either the 20s or the 30s. It was an American story. Flash, and who was a polo player originally, I believe the story, and what was Dale, were typical Americans. And they're thrust in an alien world of a bunch of degenerate warring factions who were
it's like normies
degenerate.
being thrown into like the fetish club.
And what they're talking about is Europe, because Europe's world wars were starting to have. They were just permissive. They fuck everything. They're all French. They don't have any standards. They just, if they think of it, they do it. You know what I mean? That's what they're talking about. And it takes Americans to go in there and sort all that shit out and make peace and tell them how to be. You're fucking right, man.
Let the American handle this.
Come in here
we're going to come in and we're going to sort all your shit.
Yeah, because we're honest.
You're welcome.
Because we're honest. Y'all are just a bunch of lying whores.
I'm being sarcastic.
That's what y'all are a bunch of lying whores, and we're honest. We're going to come in there. We're going to sort this shit out.
Which is obviously not true.
They're talking about. I think Americans, according to the history that I read, I think Americans during the World War era thought that.
Well, they did think that way, sure. But I'm just saying, in practice, it's obviously not true.
Yeah.
But in self-perception, sure.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of it had to do with Woodrow Wilson.
And I think that's kind of why a lot of people resonated with that, is because a lot a lot of people had that.
I remember reading that Woodrow Wilson went down there and was throwing his weight around with all these European leaders, and they just looked at the dude like he was just a buffoon, like a totally gullible fucking dude with no guile who had no idea of what the fuck he was talking about. Basically, he's saying, "Oh, you guys don't need any laws; just get along." You know, it's just weird shit like that. You know what I mean?
They were like, "Honey."
Yeah, yeah. Just get along; it'll be okay. They were just like, "What is this?"
They're like, "You're adorable."
Yeah, exactly. Just like that.
I get it.
He had no concept of intrigue or anything.
I get it.
Of people with differing fucking motives, you know, and national or international friction and shit. You know, he didn't seem to understand that.
Right.
It's because America didn't have it. It was a fucking empire of a bunch of states that had to obey at that point in those days.
That's like very funny.
Yeah.
Oscar says Anton Yelchin had a death out of a Final Destination movie. Right? It's just the way that I feel so bad because he died in like the stupidest accidental, like, and it could happen to anybody. And it's just like, and it's such a bummer because he was such a cool dude and he was like in a lot of cool movies, and it's just kind of like he was so young. And the fact that he's just like, it was something like, I don't remember all the details, but he's like, what, like getting out of his car and like the car fucking backed over him or some shit like that. It was some dumb shit like that.
Slash and Fred's talking about the original Empire Strikes Back and how the hologram of the fucking Emperor looked a lot different. Yeah, it was an old man that they had superimposed in the eyes of a chimpanzee over him. And I liked that version better. And I don't think they should have changed it. I think they should have...
Well, take it up with George Lucas.
Yeah, George Lucas trying to change his work. And then they cut the original actor out at the end when he went... His Force Ghost at the very end, who's the dude... The older Vader that you saw die. He should have been sitting there. But, you know, whatever.
Yeah, they were trying to make it all fit in with the prequels.
Trying to make it all kind of fit. You know, it didn't have to.
Why? Because the
enough.
prequels were terrible.
Yeah.
I don't really understand. Like,
oh,
why.
man, I'm happy.
Oh, Tom's going to defend the prequels.
I'm happy for the prequels now that I've seen the new sequels. You know what I mean? They're much better than the new sequels. Oh, no. The only one of the newer three that was any good was the first one was okay. What was that called?
Force Awakens.
Force Awakens was okay. I thought they were going to do something with it, but then they just progressively... Well, you could tell that Rian Johnson just made that shit up. The fucking flying Leia in space, that wasn't handled right. There was a lot of stupid shit in it. And then the last one was basically about running out of fuel and trying to outrun something. It's just fucking dumb. Maybe that was the second one. But the third one was such a mess where they were trying to save the franchise for the problems that were created in the second one. But I remember at the end, they were running a bunch of fucking animals across the top of a Star Destroyer on a Sith planet, like a bunch of horses, and then alien horses, and then the characters. There's so many characters that you don't even know their names. There's no reason for them to be there. I really liked the Emperor images, though. You know what I mean? Remember, he's on that fucking throne that's like a big spider?
Yeah.
That looked cool, but there didn't have any weight to it, though. Because I wasn't invested in the story. To me, it just looked like a story they just pulled out of their ass. Like it's something inspired by fucking hallucinogens or something. I don't see any of that as Star Wars.
Oscar's reminding me of how Anton Yelchin died. Yeah, I knew it was some like stupid like car accident thing. Yeah, he parked on a sloped street and walked down the way to take a pee. The handbrake failed and disengaged, causing his car to roll downwards, pinning him against another vehicle. Yeah, I knew it was like something like that, which was like super dumb, which could happen to anybody. Which, man, what a fucking way to go. I'd be so upset if I went that way. I think of that every time, like, I do, like, because I do dumb shit all the time, so I'm just kind of like, if I trip over some shit, I'm like, oh, is this how I'm gonna die? That'll be on my obituary. I just stumbled over a cat and fell down the stairs and broke my neck. That's how I'm gonna go. Which it said, that's a very good possibility. Xander said Woodrow Wilson was a bad president, lol. Yeah, I mean, you know. That's... Why would you think? And I kind of feel like Europeans sort of still see us like this to this day. And not without reason, I will say. They kind of see us as I mentioned earlier, like recalcitrant teenagers. Like, we kind of haven't been around that long. We don't really know what we're doing. We're kind of idiots.
No, that's everywhere.
And they're just kind of like looking at us like...
Yeah.
I get it, though. I get it.
The thing is,
I also look at my fellow Americans.
A lot of those
like
European governments aren't that old either. I think Germany was actually more of a creation of the 1800s, and then it had been created many times over. The reunification of the Rhineland and everything in the 1940s, and then a lot of those countries are not really as old as you would think they were. The governments fucking fell apart and then were rebooted under new governments. So they're not continuous.
Yeah, well, I mean...
demographics changed,
yeah,
too,
I mean, nothing is.
So, they're no older than us because this place is fucking seeded by people that came from those civilizations. So, in a way, the United States was a cancer that fell off Europe and grew over here.
Yeah, they're like, we're the people they didn't want.
Yeah, it's just another extension of Europe.
We're the people they didn't want. Yeah, you just...
It's like the infection
go over
spread.
there.
The infection
you
spread.
Go over there.
Yeah.
We don't want to deal with your stupid ass anymore.
You know.
And then they periodically they'll keep looking and be like,
yeah,
look at that tumor over there. Look how that's going.
You guys know, fucking if you're regular to the show, I'm a fucking veteran and everything, and I did the fucking imperial bullshit. There was really nothing that special. Well, okay, no, the main thing that was special about the United States is that it's surrounded by two vast oceans. All right? That helped us survive the second and the first and the Second World War.
That's probably the only thing.
Yeah, after the fucking Second War, because the United States really didn't have much to do with the Second World War in Europe. That was a secondary thing with the Germans. We really didn't care about that. Our war was against the Japanese. And Europe got destroyed in the Second World War. And we were untouched. We got stronger. All our fucking industries fucking took off. So then, the United States and the Soviet Union had a war over Europe. It's called the Cold War, where Europe became our vassal states. I know they think they're independent. They're not. The oligarchs that run the United States also own Europe. If you guys step out of line of our banking cartels, we'll assassinate your leaders. All right, we'll blow up your pipelines. They'll do anything. That's all falling apart right now, by the way. All right, but that's the way it used to be. History's going to show that Western Europe is going to belong to one or two fucking nations, either Russia or the United States. It's going to be Russia. That's going to be Russia. They won't speak Russian. Russia doesn't care that much about it. I don't think they think it's very valuable land. They got a shit ton of land. But Western European security is going to be provided by Russia because the United States can't do it. It's too far away. Technology's changed. We can't help y'all. And y'all can't help yourselves. You don't have any industries to run a fucking militaries and production facilities to get into a war of attrition against Russia. You're just going to roll over. Same way you rolled over for us during World War II. But no, it's a secret, but Western Europe are a bunch of vassal states to the United States. They just kind of tried to be polite about it. That's all going away, though. You could combine all the fucking forces of the Europe and NATO and all that, and Russia's army right now, 1.5 million men, fucking top-notch fighting forces right now. They've been kicking ass for about 2 years. Only the people that are fighting are any good. Everybody else is falling behind. I just did it for a living. Europe would chew up NATO in about 3 months at the rate that they're killing Ukrainians. They're just keeping that hidden from you. But I've listened to the experts that actually write books on this shit. Russia's unstoppable. Just like they were they're a fucking best land army in the world. Because to them it's about numbers and speed of production. They don't even need a navy. Okay. They're just gonna, but they don't need land either. They're just gonna sit where they are. But, you know, they'll keep you all safe.
Yeah, Victor said it was in his own driveway. He was yeah, see, that's what I thought. That's why I thought he got run over by his own car, because I thought it was in his own driveway. Zeta said all of Gen Z like the prequels. I can see that. I don't think the prequels are terrible movies. They just, to me, seemed like really boring. Like, they didn't have that sparkle. They didn't have that. They weren't, like, all that compelling. Like, there was just too much shit in there that didn't need to be in there. It was just kind of like, I don't know. Tonally, they were all over the place. It's like, is this for kids? Is this for boring grown-ups? Is this, what are you doing with this? And it's just kind of like, I didn't love it. And honestly, I gave them another chance because I saw them in the theater when they came out, and I was like, didn't love that. Okay. And I was like super jacked for it too because I love Star Wars. But I watched them again recently, and I hate to say I still really did not like the prequels. They're so fucking boring, man. They're so fucking boring. And, like, the acting is just really not good. And I'm not blaming Hayden Christensen. It's just kind of like...
Actually, no, he's good in the third one.
He did the best he could. Like, the third one's the best one of all of them. Man, the first two, woof, man. It's like, I can't. I just can't.
Lucas is not a script dude.
That's the thing. Like, he doesn't have... Yeah. Like I said, and we've said this before, George Lucas is a very talented idea guy.
Yeah.
But idea guy doesn't translate to scriptwriter person or director or, you know, those are different, skill sets.
Yeah.
He needs somebody to hear what he's coming up with. And it's like, that's a great fucking idea. We need to translate that to something that will be an entertaining movie, an entertaining story, because some of the shit he comes up with, not all that entertaining. Gonna say. Slasher Fred said, one of these days you guys should do an episode on the underrated Disney horror classic Watcher in the Woods. I did a review of it over on my Scare Salon channel, so I'm gonna say I'd put a link to it in the description, but I'll probably forget. But I did. If you go over to my Scare Salon channel, I did Watcher in the Woods. I did Return to Oz. I feel like I did another... Well, I know I reviewed Something Wicked This Way Comes, too. So I did, like, a whole dark... But that was on this channel. I did a whole, like, dark Disney thing. Because I'm into that. I really like that whole phase. I haven't done Black Cauldron yet, but I'll get around to it. Maybe I should do that, Black Cauldron. Although somebody told me to do Night Gallery, more Night Gallery for my next Scare Salon, so I'll probably do that. Because I've been doing Night Gallery and Thriller, but with Boris Karloff. But I have done Watcher in the Woods, which I didn't see it when I was younger. It probably would have scared the crap out of me when I was younger, but because I didn't see it when I was a kid, I didn't have the same attachment to it, I guess. Even though I was the age that that a lot of people were when they saw it, but I didn't see it back then. And it's the end of it, I'm gonna say, is kind of incomprehensible. But from everything that I've heard, the end of the book was even more incomprehensible. So they did the best they could. There's a whole, like, yeah, go watch my video on it. There's a whole thing about, like, they released one version of it with a ending that was closer to the book, and people were like, what the fuck was that ending about? Was that made no sense? And then, like, they had to reshoot the ending because it didn't make any sense. And then when it came out, they're like, well, it still doesn't make that much sense, but it made more sense than last time. So, okay. It's a whole thing. But yeah, it's a pretty fascinating history. Tammy says, speaking of Disney, I heard his last words were Kurt Russell. Wonder if that's true.
Wait,
it might have been. Kurt Russell was in a lot of the old Disney movies.
That's funny.
When he was younger.
Yeah. Yeah, he was in the Mickey Mouse Club.
Yeah, like, wasn't he in a bunch of those? Remember those, like, fucking movies that came out? I remember, I think the first movie that I remember seeing in the theater was a Disney movie, and it was, I don't think Kurt Russell was in it. Maybe he was. The Cat from Outer Space?
I think
so. Remember that one?
I think that was Kurt Russell.
The Cat from Outer Space.
Yeah.
When did that come out?
70s.
Well, I know that, but it's
I know that, you know.
How old was I? Because I remember my mom and my aunt took me and some of my cousins or some of the other kids from the daycare to see Cat from Outer Space. And we sat in the front row, and we weren't even watching the movie. We were just kind of like crawling around pretending to be cats, like in the big space, like if between the front row and the screen. So I was maybe 4.
I know that Kurt doing Escape from New York and The Thing, but really Escape from New York was the first one. That was when he was really doing everything he could to shake off the Disney reputation.
Yeah,
is that he wanted to do some really dark underground shit. Escape from New York, you know.
Which, like I said, that happens a lot with like people that are like child actors and stuff. They will, you know, which is understandable.
Oh man, fucking the Thing, he fucking blew it out of the fucking. I saw him first in fucking Escape from New York, and then The Thing. I had no concept of any Disney shit. I knew later on. I was like, oh
yeah, I didn't really remember him in it because I was
a
little kid when those came out.
So he didn't have anything to shake off with me.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, I knew him as fucking Snake Plissken and fucking McCready. You know, I didn't see any of the television stuff that he had done because he did an Elvis movie too.
Although we did a review of that, and that's actually pretty good.
Oh yeah, that was Carpenter.
Yeah, John Carpenter.
That's where he met Carpenter.
It was a TV movie.
Yeah, doing the Elvis story. He was good in it, and he also did one Deadly Tower where he did the.
That's right. He played Charles Whitman.
Charles Whitman up at the tower shooting all the people.
Yeah. That's
he was
also
made for TV,
great.
I think.
Yeah, that was also great. We reviewed that one too, right? Because somebody sent us that. Somebody sent us that. That's a great fucking movie, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. I understand like people that grew up in the Disney system, and it's like they're supposed to have this squeaky clean image, and they're playing, kids in all these movies and stuff, and it's just kind of like, I want to play normal roles. So it's like they're going to do the complete opposite. They're going to play fucking villains and stuff.
I remember in the 90s, this was sometime after that very first Harry Potter movie. Okay?
Right.
And they had some blonde girl who was like a kid when she was first played that role, right? She showed up on Saturday Night Live kind of doing a redo of that fucking skit, right? But she had gotten implants since then. Remember that skit?
No.
Oh, it's fucking funny. She wasn't a kid anymore. She was probably fucking 20 by that time.
Well, I hope not.
But it had got, years had gone on. She's dressed in that fucking Hogwarts or whatever. What was the name of that school uniform?
Yeah, Hogwarts, yeah.
Yeah, and they're going through just a regular scene like she's at Hogwarts, and the two other dudes from Saturday Night Live are dressed up like the boys, and they're just staring at her boobs.
Yeah.
She's bending over, and they're just fucking huge implants and shit. That's fucking hilarious. And that was like her trying to break out of that squeaky clean kid role, Fucking funny.
I mean, I will say that Daniel Radcliffe, the guy that played Harry Potter, the kid that played Harry Potter in the movies, he seems to have done pretty well. Like, he's been in some cool-ass movies. He was in Horns, which was the adaptation of the Joe Hill novel, which, Stephen King's son, obviously. And that was actually a really good movie. I think he was also in... I want to say he was in... What the fuck was the name of that movie? I'll remember it in a minute. But he was also in The Woman in Black, which was great. And he was in Guns Akimbo, which was great, which we reviewed a while back. And so he seems to have broken out of the shit a little bit. Yeah, Emma Watson. She played Hermione Granger. She's not blonde, though. She had, like, brown hair.
What I'm talking about, right?
I mean, I'm assuming...
That's it right there. That's the skit.
Okay, that's not... Wait a minute. Who am I looking at? Wait.
I'm sure. Hold on. Then they get down on the floor.
Oh. Yeah, I thought it was Emma Watson, dude. That's not Emma Watson. I don't know who
Yeah, here she gets down.
I don't know who that is. I mean, was she even in the Harry Potter movies?
I thought she is in the Harry Potter movies. It's not?
No, that's
Okay.
what the fuck is that chick's name?
She gets down.
No, she's not in
there. She is. She gets down on her knees and they start doing some kind of magical spell and she's fucking spilling out of that thing.
No, that would have been funnier if it was Emma Watson. But
Okay,
it's not. She was. I don't.
So yeah, you guys. I don't know if that.
I'm pretty
I think
sure
they're goofing on it.
She was not in the Harry Potter movies.
Okay.
That looks like fucking. What the fuck is her name? I can't think of her name. But that's not her.
I didn't see any Harry Potter movies, so I thought that's who it was.
I don't love J.K. Rowling, but the books were actually pretty good. The books are better than the movies, but the movies are a pretty good representation. Oscar says Radcliffe was also in Swiss Army Man. Yeah, that's right. I've been wanting to see that, actually. Wasn't he in that fucking play, Equus or whatever? Like, he was... That was kind of the first thing that he did after the Harry Potter thing, and everybody was super shocked because of the nudity and blah, blah, blah. But he's actually, like, a really good actor. Oscar says, Jen, please do a review of the Night Gallery episode titled The Little Black Bag. Was that the one with Burgess Meredith? Because if it is, I've already done that. Yeah, Lindsay Lohan. Thank you. That's who that is.
That's who it was.
That's Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah, okay. Right.
Lindsay Lohan was not in the Harry Potter.
So she was just goofing on Harry Potter.
Yeah,
okay.
she's not in the Harry Potter movies.
Okay, yeah, Lindsay Lohan.
Oh my God, Tom.
I forgot that.
You
name.
sound like such an old man. You're just like, what with the Harry Potter? Yeah.
Lindsay Lohan.
She
Haven't heard that name in a long time.
She was not in the Harry Potter movies.
Is she even around anymore?
I have no idea.
I don't think so.
I don't keep track of Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah. Lindsay Lohan.
I haven't heard that name in a long time either.
I haven't heard that
like,
name
I
in a long
recognized
time.
her face, but I couldn't think of her name. And I was just like, well, that's definitely not Emma Watson.
She was in movies.
She was.
She was in a bunch of other... She did other stuff
She was
too.
She was in a lot of shitty movies that I recall. But like I said...
I just remember seeing her on a lot of screensavers for video games and shit, like Xbox.
Right.
Yeah, once you cracked Xbox, dudes just start trading fucking data for screensavers and shit. And there was a lot of Lindsay Lohan shit. She was popular.
Yeah.
It was in the 90s, early 90s.
Yeah, Dentos Thomas says, at
late
this
90s.
point, not much like JK anyways. But yeah, but love Harry Potter. Yeah, I liked all the books. I really did. And honestly, if you go to Universal Studios here in Orlando, we have a whole Harry Potter world. And it's pretty awesome, gotta say. It's pretty awesome. They did a good job. She was in Mean Girls, a millennial classic. That's right. She was in that, wasn't she? I should probably get around to seeing that one of these days. I know so many people like reference it, and I've seen like clips from it and stuff, but I don't think I've ever sat through the whole thing. You know?
Yeah.
I know all the memes from it and stuff, but it's like I don't think I've ever sat down and watched the whole thing straight through. I probably will one of these days, but... Ben says, yeah, he's one of the successes of escaping the Disney child abuse pipeline. Kurt Russell, I guess we're talking about. Yeah, it's like, and I had totally forgotten, and I guess that's that's kind of a testament to his talent, is that a lot of people don't even remember that he started out like as a Disney child star. People just remember him for Snake Plissken or The Thing or whatever, like being in badass shit. They don't really remember that he was in a bunch of cheesy ass shit before that, but he was. What
about you, Jen? I'm getting tired.
Okay, well, I guess it's 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's Friday night. It's a holiday weekend.
Yeah.
So I guess we're gonna wrap it up for this evening. as I said, we're going to go see Furiosa tomorrow. So
Yep.
that will probably be what we will review on Monday. Although, as I said, Xanada, thank you very much, Xanada, sent us Django Unchained. So we're going to be reviewing that probably the following Monday. But yeah, so hopefully you guys had a good time this evening. I'm going to put up a video this weekend where I'm reviewing Night Watch, the Danish film, which the Ewan McGregor film from the late 90s was based on. So Shudder just put it up not too long ago, and I was really excited to watch it. So I'm going to put up a review of that sometime this weekend. I'm not really sure when, probably tomorrow. So yeah, have a good 3-day weekend, you guys, if you get Monday off. Hopefully you do. And we'll see you guys again on Monday night for the movie review. Thank you very much for hanging out with us this Friday evening. Good night.